Drop a rock into the water, watch it ripple. Tides turn quick, just keep your head on a swivel. Competition getting stiff, I'm here to make you wiggle. You know me, surround your whole town, make you yell siege. All-star, homie, this the king's speech. You can lock it down, we gon' still preach. Boy, preach. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Boy, you already know I'm the real wonder. Boy, I bring the storm, you gonna feel thunder. So your body count is up there with killmongers. How about you come take a look at some real numbers? Might just double up on you while I still slumber. I'm the living proof, I'm just coming through for the thrill of it. Room full of all-stars, we all guys. Somebody gotta be Zeus, I'll take charge. Fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Positive, negative, I'll take charge and shake eyes, remain great while I pay homage. They always said that pressure can make diamonds, so keep climbing all the way up, that's where you'll find me. Right next to the legends, I go off my brethren, said goodbye to the old me. I'ma make sure that you know me. After this here, you gon' own me. Didn't choose a game, it chose me. You know what G-O means to an OG, let's go. Fight, who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, get out of your mind. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Who's next in line? Can you make that climb? Now is the time, this world is mine. Raise up the lights, we all here tonight, so let's do it right. Yo, we came here to fight. Yeah. Get your back off the wall. Come on, yep, come one, yep, come on. Get up, yep, get your back off the wall. Come on, yep, come one, yep, come on.
The night beckons while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, つな宿命に抗い立ち向かう己の正義を掲げて決して終わりのない戦いの行方は僕のこの手にかかってるからたとえ限界だって恐怖心だって超えてゆけるって言い聞かせて次の一歩を強く踏むだけレイに先未来を交差する思惑正義の火を今輝かせて Darkness is already strong Will you together in this endless war Truth is justice like my heart is sworn It burns like from the earth's wideどんな犠牲だっていとわず突き進む守るべき人のために痛みにもがいても足を止めないのは愛しい笑顔がいつもこの背中を預かるたとえ限界だって恐怖心だって超えてゆけるって言い聞かせて次の一歩を強く踏むだけ華麗に先未来を交差する思惑正義の火を今輝
Are you there? Okay, we're back. How long have we not had audio for?
That?
Okay, so I'm guessing you guys heard literally nothing. Wow. Good job, guys. We'll do a quick recap. Our predictions are down there. We were just saying We gave a bunch of opinions, but Rebel, I'll let you start again. How does Cerberus win these games?
Yes, Cerberus good, Chicken's bad. Cerberus built around Artemis. Either play 2 Artemis on bottom side, let them be the consistent threat, or you leave Artemis on an island in bot side, move 𝘂𝗏 or Ron OP, probably 𝘂𝗏 because he's been playing really well, and move them on the top side of the map to try to cover for your mid and top lane with your jungle as fast as possible. Whether it's 𝘂𝗏, whether it's Ego, I don't know whether or not Ego is ever going to step into this roster or not.
Ego is not going to be playing this split from what we can see.
That's upsetting beyond belief.
He's quite sick.
Yes. But again, in my opinion, it's Artemis-based. Play 2 Artemis, or play outside and let Artemis just scale up alongside the rest of your team as you're defending the remainder of the map.
Makes a lot of sense. But Marby, you have taken the opposite view. You think the super big time chickens will be super big time. Please do tell us why.
I think overall, like if you look against every other team in the split, Cerberus will show up as the better team, but the matchup that they have right now against SBTC should be one of their weaker ones, because for the moment, they still have Pun in the top lane, and Pun is such a liability. Cerberus really only has 1 lane, and then they have 2 half lanes in the side of Yado, and then they barely have a laner in Pun. So Zeros is good if Dia1 actually decides to decide, Let me learn how to speak again. If Dia1 decides to play the game, he will actually be able to walk over Yado. The top side should just be so much better than Cerberus' top side, and I do not think the gap between Celebrity and 𝘁cie, who are still a really strong bot lane, is anywhere. The gap between them and Artemis 𝘂𝗏 is nowhere near the gap that the top side has. So that should be the massive advantage coming in. That should be where SBTC works to overthrow.
Yeah, that makes a fair bit of sense as a general summation, but let's talk about some more specific matchups and things that could happen in the draft. Rebel, what matchups do you think make or break the map here, and what picks are you looking out for in particular?
Yeah, first thing, again, with bottom lane having shifted so heavily, we already saw that in series number 1 with the shift towards Jinx in game number 1. Now it's a talk of not only Artemis, but also SBTC, where you talk about like how good Celebrity is. Because Celebrity's also been a pretty decent performer over the course of the split. How well is he able to actually tank the pressure in bottom side, who adapts to this meta faster, which supports able to shift into a more defensive mindset, because you're not seeing Leona as much anymore. You're seeing a little bit of Alistar, you're seeing some of the dive, but for the most part, you're looking at Tahm Kench, you're looking at Braum, you're looking at some of the more defensive options. The bot lane that adapts to that faster will have a much better option in this game. If it's Cerberus, they can play really heavily to Artemis. If it's SBTC, your one best weapon here on the side of Cerberus is now completely neutered for the entire series.
Yep. It's very true.
I think there's there's something you can say, sort of a slight disagreement with what Rebel said, in that engaged supports are still good. They're just different engaged supports. Rel is, of course, still broken as dicks.
Rel should not be getting played.
No, Rel should be banned most of the time, but like Rakan is good. Alistar, of course, still has the engaged potential. So there's definitely still options there. Thresh, Blitzcrank, they have shown up in other regions. So it's definitely still... Engage can be played, so that keeps 𝘁cie happy for the most part. 𝘂𝗏 also has been putting on that aggressive edge, so both supports should be able to stick to their guns for the most part. Yep. But my focus is the top side, and actually the jungle, rather than the top lane itself, because we've moved away from a few of those carry junglers, and we're moving more towards the tanks, and that's where Yujin gets to play his Skarner. He gets to play a lot of his comfort, and that's how he ends up being a really, really strong jungler, whereas stuff like the Graves and stuff, it wasn't really his wheelhouse for the most part. So I think meta's actually also shifted in a way that helps the top side of SBTC a bit more.
Fair enough, and this is something to consider. We are on a new patch than we were last week. SBTC may not have been particularly impressive last week. Perhaps 11.4 helps them out. Rebel, what matchups in particular are you looking at?
After the bot lane matchup.
Sorry, I was expecting us to be in Champ Select, but they're just taking a...
That's fair.
Where else are you looking in Champ?
I think Dia1's champion pool is going to be interesting again because I mean we know Dia1 to be the super aggressive champion, the person who plays like the Tristana and the Jace and such in the mid lane versus 𝘂𝗷, and I think mid lane's pool again it's in such a weird place of like control mages are good but they're still beatable, but like there's not really a ton of other options beyond like what control mages can bring unless you're going for something a little crazier. You can blind pick just about anything out of the mid lane and be perfectly comfortable with it. You're not usually getting completely bullied out. And so now it's like, does Dia1 actually have the ability to force onto somebody like 𝘂𝗷, especially in these two patches, or maybe the mid lane pool and the priority on mid lane pool isn't as high as what it was before? I think that's a perfectly interesting pack. Or something to consider, especially for red side when you're looking at what SBTC does. If they put priority on top lane over top of mid lane, Dia1 doesn't get the matchups he looks for. But if you go the other way, now all of a sudden you're getting a weaker top lane matchup, which seems to be more important right now.
That makes a lot of sense. We do head into champions like Cerberus on the blue side, SBTC on the red. As we can see, they are both at 4-2. This is a battle
for a second. Yeah.
Sorry. It's all right. We do see the bans coming in. 𝘁𝗏, Lucian, and Zoe removed. The Zoe ban, very standard against 𝘂𝗷. That is a bit of a pocket pick of his. What else are we thinking we might see?
No Udyr and there's no Olaf right now.
True.
Yeah, at this stage, the lack of jungle bans is very telling. I imagine that's going to be a ban for the side of SBTC, though they may just look to sort of force Cerberus into banning. If Cerberus bans one, they ban the other. Yep, so there's the rel ban. I expect to see a Udyr ban coming up there, because otherwise they would have been looking to set up the trade.
So that leaves Olaf up, potentially, as the first pick to come through from the side of CES if they want it. I don't know whether or not 𝘂𝗏 is still on that. I know it's been taken down. Some of the itemization's been taken down. Not to mention, there's still plenty of other powerful picks. Things like Kai'Sa are still available. If you really want the Jinx, you could pick for that. You can go crazy and go with the Thresh first pick overall, like we saw in the last... I don't expect that to be happening a second time. You don't want the Aphelios Thresh picked immediately.
I don't think so.
Never mind, I meant that
There's the
entirely.
Thresh.
I am the greatest analyst ever existed.
Well, you picked the Vayne in Series 1. You didn't pick the Thresh here, though.
Why?
They do instantly lock it in. I'm not sure that's a good decision. I think I agree with you guys.
Picking it seems like a bit of a waste of that first pick. However, you do hide a lot of your... Okay. Kai'Sa again. I was gonna go into a whole thing about how Celebrity is actually really good on Jinx, but we're just gonna get Kai'Sa.
Yeah, it's actually worth bringing up. Celebrity used to always pick Jinx, even when she wasn't meta. She was like a very specific counter. But they're just gonna go the Kai'Sa this time. I mean, I can't blame them. She's kind of the king of the meta as it stands. The Gragas as well is very flexible. Could go into 3 or 4 positions.
Back to the void.
I hope
this time get eaten by a monster.
Maybe when she comes out next time she'll have a cool. But back over on Cerberus' side, they are hovering the Olaf. They lock it on in. That makes a lot of sense. Very, very powerful jungler still up and over.
And you think, like, what do you pick as ADC here if you're CES? Because it's probably what you go. Okay, they go immediately. I was gonna say Xayah. I think Jinx was fine into this composition. I think you don't really want Varus at this exact point because you're still not sure what SE is going for. But they go for super defensive with the likes of the Xayah.
Yeah, I almost may have liked to see an Ezreal to sort of, if you wanted to be on that defensive edge, but surprisingly, the Venom has been very slow to pick up that pick. But gonna see the Jace lock in. It's a SBTC classic because of how flexible it is.
I would classic as well.
Expect to see it more likely to go. Yeah, I expect to see him more likely in the top lane because that seems like where they want to. That seems like where I would try and punish if I was SBTC. But of course, Dia1's Jace is still a thing that you cannot look past. And here we see SBTC looking to ban out those safe picks for fun. Take away the Sion, take away probably the Gnar next, I reckon, because I don't know if Xerath is going to bust out the Vayne.
Well, I mean,
ban away the Renekton.
Xerath is the type that would.
Ban away the Renekton so Xerath doesn't get tempted to pick the Quinn.
Very
But
true. I like this. I like this Jace pick because now they can counter pick whichever solo lanes they think they need to counter. Because both Zeros and Dia1 are completely happy to play Jace. They've both played a bunch of it. And they'll just save a counter pick. That is an Azir ban. Taking a string out of Yado's bow.
So the Azir ban is a decent pick against Yado, but maybe the Irelia. Maybe they're banking on the fact that Pun doesn't play Irelia, or Yado doesn't play Irelia, so that they don't just pick that and use that as a counter flex against the Jace, because yeah, that's something you can do. And Yukin's Compass. That's something.
That's a snap pick.
Okay. I like the strategy of going for your jungler here because you already have essentially two bad matchups for Gragas, no matter where you're putting him, and so they opt for the Thresh matchup, which again, it's not perfect, but it does fit with 𝘁cie𝗱𝗆 eventually with that backline ultimate. I don't know that 𝘁𝑎𝑟thus is perfect. They don't have Levi, so I don't know that I'm fully in support of this 𝘁𝑎𝑟thus pick to come through. But I mean, I'm willing to be open to this possibility.
It's going to be Renekton picked up for Pun. Putting him on a strong laner makes sense. Kind of bandage the player diff that we do think there will be up on the top side. Favor of SBTC.
Time to win.
I mean,
Time to win, everybody.
I have a different idea actually that could be cool.
to tell.
Nocturne. Nocturne's been fitting really into the Camille matchup more than anything.
You've got,
Yeah.
God damn
Are
it,
you
Rebel.
watching a stream? Are you watching like a stream?
Have you guys not seen? Has that not
I
made
have.
its way to the VCS?
No,
Okay, because like Nocturne top is absolutely nuts as a pick.
It is. I just didn't expect it to.
It might go
come in.
mid lane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I guess they
also
wanted
noticed
to
that
It's a TF counter as well.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
actually a
I
counter.
see it solo lane. I usually see it top more than I see it mid, but this makes sense in the Twisted Fate.
It's one of those TF counters I just forget about because I physically reject the thought of Nocturne mid.
Wait, but you're Welsh. You have to like it. There's only
not-
3 Welsh people, and 𝘁𝑚𝑒𝑑ius is one of them, so you have to like something.
You're forgetting all of his cousins.
Exactly, that's the third.
Yeah,
I'm just
both of
putting them in one.
Both of his cousins.
This is 𝘱𝑎𝑟𝑒 erasure. I won't take it.
But yeah, this is the Nocturne counter pick. I mean, it makes a lot of sense against Twisted Fate. It kind of speaks for itself as to why it's a counter. It's interesting though, you have to order your ult properly. Because you always want to ult after TF ults, because that actually blinds him. If he ults second, it doesn't actually work. This is exciting. I'm really keen for this matchup. I think both teams have actually come out with a draft they're quite happy with. So it should just be down to who plays better.
Yeah, both teams have very strong sort of points of pressure. I'm going to be very interested to see what ends up happening because I feel like despite the Nocturne being the TF counter pick, they're both going to ult to opposite sides of the map. Dia1 going to head towards the top lane to help get this Jace going while TF heads bot lane. So it's just going to sort of end up looking a little bit wacky, but we'll see.
Rebel, final thoughts and a prediction.
First things first, if I have to wait through another AD champion added to Dia's pool that's not named Talon or Zed or even like just Fizz, just add Fizz to the pool, I'm going to lose my mind because apparently he's just dodging all of my favorite champions to watch on the Rift. Number 2, I'm really worried for the 𝘁𝑎𝑟thus pick. I think it can get aggressed against very simply, and so I'm going to go for CES just based on ease of execution here.
Fizz, one of your favorite champions. We will, anyone out there, any analysts who would like a spot on VCS English, do hit us up. We have just fired one. But yeah, I do think this is really interesting. I want to see
Okay,
how
Tryndamere player.
I do not play Tryndamere anymore.
You've played games of it, so you are forever cursed as a bad person. But Zeros, they got that early ward down into that lane brush, so now Zeros is going to get a very good early trade on.
He baited the hell out of Pun there as well. He baited him so hard. So
Pun already going to have to chew through his pot if he wants to even get close to CS, but Zeros just going to do the standard thing. You lose out on your first 3 CS most of the time as Jace, but you keep them out of experience range, and that is far more important than those three minions of gold. But nope, Pun's just Zeros is going to pick those up regardless. I only picks up one of them, but again, the experience is the thing you're after there. But the shove on the other two sides of the lane may end up being quite uncomfortable for 𝘁𝗱𝘆. However, his starting on the blue side means that those two pushing lanes aren't going to affect him as badly as if he had done the red start.
Yeah, he should be fine. He has to be a little bit careful, depending on if he goes to his Krugs or not. He might clash with 𝘀𝗏 at that top scuttle. Not something he wants to be doing. But, let's just see. He's currently taking his red. 𝘀𝗏 now crossing over. Of course, both very, very fast jungles.
Yes, but 𝘁𝗁𝘆 definitely has the ability to just take these Krugs, reset, and go for that bot lane scuttle instead of trying to contest top side. Because 𝘀𝗏 should still win that early 1v1. It's just much easier to land those axes and auto attacks a low mana 𝘁𝗁𝘆's down. So should be a reset after these Krugs, or maybe not. Definitely gonna move in, make sure Zeros is able to get this wave fully pushed in and get his own cheetah recall. But maybe he's built up enough speed to take this crab before 𝘀𝗏 can contest. Tier 1's got the priority now, so...
Yeah, I mean, 𝘀𝗏 can't step into the river against this. Zeros is a level up. He's got the minions crashing into the tower. This is just going to be a 𝘀𝗶𝗆 for 𝘁𝗁𝘆 doing well. Pops the Scryer's Bloom just to confirm where 𝘀𝗏 is, and with Thresh roaming up, it is just going to be 1-for-1 on the crabs, but 𝘁𝗁𝘆 is pretty happy with that. If he goes even early against the 𝘀𝗏, I don't think he's waiting too much.
Yeah, and good moves from the bot lane of Cerberus to move up, get that deep ward onto the Krug, so that not the Krug, the Gromp, so they know that's there. 𝘂𝗏 may wish to poke his head in while they still have that lane. Priority, but decides not to risk anything. They're just going to take the information and throw up a Sapia screen.
Sepia Rift, standard stuff.
Yeah,
they've been doing so well recently.
Someone looked at a clock and was like, "We're on early. Is this right?" Because I didn't expect 𝘁𝗍𝗶 to win that quickly.
No, I don't think anyone did. I assume we're back on our screen. But my word, that was a brutal start up on the top side. That Jace getting off to a ridiculous start. Zeros on that champion is absolutely no joke. And you did point out that you think the top lane is going to be the breaking point of this series. And early on, it certainly looks that way.
Yep, that's definitely where they need to be looking for that pressure. I mean, at this stage in the game, if you haven't gotten that pressure lead in top lane as Jace first Renekton, you've completely lost. You've basically solo lost the game.
I think it was exacerbated by that where he didn't know the ward was in the bush, so he got chunked to like a third health.
The early level 1 ward from 𝘁𝗁𝘆 was very well placed to set up a good lead for Zeros, and he may just gonna hold with restraint. Just going to take the experience advantage. Maybe if he can get a shock blast through to stop the back. But that at this point, Zeros may need to just try and shove this wave a little bit faster, because he's not going to get the crash in. And now he's going to need a bit of tension.
No, he just shock blast this wave.
No, shock blast this wave. Okay.
Just crashes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thought
he's in a great position.
Bit extra aggression from Pun, but nope, it's Pun. I should have expected nothing from him.
As down on the bot side, it is actually a bit of a lead building up for Artemis. Early on, they have gotten out to a very good start up against this 𝘁𝗁𝘁, which is good to see. The classic matchup of Xayah 𝘁𝗁𝘁, World's flashbacks. World's 2019 even.
World's 2018. World's 20, not 17. 𝘁𝗁𝘁 wasn't out yet. Those were the before times.
No, look, Xayah's fun. She's good. Zeros gets a rip-roaring trade up on the top side. Oh, Pun is hating his life. Pun has no fun. As this Renekton, I mean, you're picking Renekton and you're getting this stuffed in lane, just pick a big tank. Pick Malphite.
He's not having any fun. He's got 𝘁𝗂 up on his side. He's got a good amount of rage built up, so can get a good burst of healing through. Interesting use of the blast going there. Just didn't want to give an option for Karthus if they make their way up there.
I think he smells the dive from Zeros and he doesn't want to let him have the escape. But in the end, the trigger is not pulled.
Yeah, definitely up there for the counter gank. That's a lot of wasted time. Fortunately for Cerberus, though, he was not actually spotted at all in that brush, and they weren't really west, so they didn't get the free dragon that was on offer. But with 𝘂𝗷 hanging towards that top side, Zeros, he was looking for something, but he's gonna have to call it off with knowledge that 𝘂𝗷 is within ult range. Also has teleport available, so any solo play he makes can be turned around quite quickly.
And it's actually been evened out pretty well by Cerberus. The bot side actually has just as big a lead as the top side does. We've been focusing on it because Zeros has been so rude, but Artemis and 𝘂𝗶𝘆 are actually doing a really fantastic job on the bot side. And that Twisted Fate gold in the mid lane, despite it being even, they actually do have a very slight lead, as eyes are drawn to the dragons, but Yijin gets control of the scuttle, so SBTC should have full knowledge if Cerberus makes any kind.
Yeah, Yijin picking up control of that crab, but we see Dia1 making his way towards the top side, but Pun may not be ended far enough. Zeros keeping the wave pulled back. He does not want Pun to feel comfortable at all going for anything. Gonna try and deny the cannon, but no.
This is the one problem with Nocturne solo lane. It's very strong, don't get me. But level 1 paranoia, it's actually a really short range. If you're not in the jungle, you can't even call it a global. In the jungle, it's fair to call it like a semi-global because you could be coming from anywhere because you're a jungler. But when you're in a solo lane, they know where you're coming from. 𝘁, on the other hand, he knows where they're coming from. Trouble, but forward. They trade it back 1 for 1, but Celebrity's got to run. Twisted Fate did press his ult, but didn't actually go anywhere. Artemis and Celebrity trading ults on the backside.
It was more for vision. They wanted to make sure there was no Karthus available, but Dia1 was in range of 𝘂𝗷, so 𝘂𝗷 could not follow up comfortably without taking way too much damage in trade. But it was good enough. It gave them the vision to say there's no Yijin, they can't turn this around. And they set it up with a good hook, but Celebrity trades back the damage so well onto 𝘂𝗶𝘆. Also quite a few turret shots. And actually that flash body slam from 𝘁 was really good to try and set up Celebrity for the first blood. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the damage off in time, so it is a net trade for Artemis in terms of winning. Plus, they get another flash out of Celebrity, whereas Artemis still has his. But it was a very well turnaround, very good trade back from 𝘁.
Yeah, that it was. Apparently my mic is having issues, so I'm just going to try and fix that real quick while the dragon's being taken. If a fight breaks out, I'll jump back in.
Alrighty, well, as it is at the moment, SBTC, they have that priority. Cerberus is not going to be able to find a way into it. So just an easy Infernal Drake. And that is one of the most valuable Drakes for the side of SBTC in terms of solo Drakes. This Cloud Drake also going to be very crucial, very good for them if they can pick that up. More access to the Requiem, more to the Paranoia, just good ultimates on the side of SBTC that can make use of that 10% CDR. Now we're seeing good bot lane control from Artemis.
Paranoia is being used, but there's the Lancet was right there. They throw the barrel, they call the Requiem. This is going to be a lot of damage being dealt. Artemis goes low, 𝘂𝗶𝘆 does as well. Are they going to go under the tower? You have to think they will. Oh, the hook though! 𝘂𝗶𝘆 turns it on around. This is an absolute disaster. Ragnarok, as Olaf comes down into the bot side. Dia1 has 0 mana, and this was a shockingly executed play out of SBTC. What a terrible fluff of a play. They use 2 long cooldown ults, and they get nothing.
Did respect the aftershock, and from 𝘂𝗶𝗆. They thought they could burst him down, but they just couldn't. The damage was split between the two. Poor target calling, but only 𝘁ci𝗱 could really punch out good amounts of damage. The Q got split. It means they can't do anything, and of course the turnaround was there. But this isn't going to amount to too much. It's going to be a couple of kills traded back to Cerberus. Yeah, here we see only 𝘁ci𝗱 can really follow up on the damage. Of course, there is the Requiem as well, but Flash Falls from Artemis, the Aftershock just too good, too strong from 𝘂𝗶𝗆 at these levels, and hitboxes are a thing.
That replay actually misses the worst part of that play. It was Dia1 ulting onto Artemis, who was standing on the lantern. He completely mistimed it. You need to time it right after he picks up the lantern. Then you'll follow. But he completely mistimed it and just fluffed it.
Yeah, the Aftershock... sorry, the Paranoia was, I think, mostly used to just try and make sure there was no response from, like, 𝘂𝗷𝘀. But it ended up working really... It ended up fluffing using the dash poorly. It was all fluffed. It didn't work very well.
It was really bad.
But good hook from 𝘂𝗶𝗆 to turn it around, get the kill back, and it means that at this point Cerberus have that gold lead at the moment, and they've hit the lane swap early, so that's worked out really well. Jace is now sort of playing in the 2v2, and he's not going to be able to accelerate this advantage. In fact, he's going to be kept quite a bit down by Artemis and 𝘂𝗶𝗆. Because he's not an ADC.
Yeah, this gold lead is only going to grow as, despite the fact that the Jace is dominating, it doesn't really matter. The top lane was always going to go in favor of SBTC, but unfortunately the rest of the map just hasn't. Artemis, the stable rock of Cerberus that we always... that we always have to give props to, is 2-0 as 𝘂𝗆, 𝘂𝗶𝗆, and Twisted Fate move up to the top side. We are potentially going to have a 3v3. They go in on 𝘳os. They kill the bully. Bully Watchers has been called. There's a good barrel out of the Gragas. They turn it around. They get 𝘂𝗆. The Requiem being used as well, but Dia1 has a lot to do. They get one, but he's got 3 left to deal with. But the 𝘁ci𝗱 lands the W. They're actually going to kite this one out. 𝘁ci𝗱 flash cleanses, but Artemis Gale forces forward, pops the ultimate, and now Dia1 is on the wrong side of the tracks. He has to try and turn it around into something. He has no chance. Pun takes him down. And it's a flurry of action in the top side.
What have they done? Okay, they've thrown everything away. It was good play from Cerberus being able to get up there first. They rotated everyone up there. Because here's the thing, Artemis is already here. 𝘂𝗷𝘀 can cross the map easily. So can Renekton. That means they're all here first. The globals are already up here, except for the 𝘁𝗱𝗆s, of course, but he's only level 6 ultimate. He hasn't got any penetration down. He's only got the Liandry's, so he doesn't actually do a lot of damage. Artemis, however, does do a lot of damage with that Gale Force complete, and then Dia1 just he fired his shot and then walked the complete wrong direction. So it ended up being another free kill donated over, and now that's a 4-on-1 Artemis, well on the way to the Essence Reaver.
And the one
is off to a good start. And there are 2 kills back onto Pun, so he's not really feeling that CS deficit as much anymore. And that's the main lead that SBTC had, just gone.
Yeah, this is a bit of a disaster. The one strong point, as you said, is now not particularly strong. Pun catching up. And it's just misexecution of plays. It almost feels like they haven't actually practiced this comp very much. They picked it because, I think it was strong. I don't dislike the picks. It just doesn't feel practiced. Gijin, it must be said. Look, I don't want to be all doom and gloom for the super big time chicken. Is doing well on this 𝘁𝗱𝗆s. You know, not quite Levi style, but he's pretty up there in terms of his farm. It's kind of ridiculous. 143 at 15 minutes. It's pretty solid, but they can't save that inner bot lane tower. And 𝘁𝗱𝗆s, try as he might, I don't know if he's going to be able to drag his team over the line in this one.
Well, he's decided to pivot his attention to 𝘳𝗀os a bit more, and he's pushed Pun out of lane and going to secure that tower, but because his attention was there and the Rift Tower was summoned bot lane, that's 2 towers for 1. That is absolutely not worth it. And I think Yijin may need to just sort of focus his attention on keeping Artemis down, because 𝘁𝗀 was just going to play down there. 𝘂𝗧 can win on his own, but now 𝘂𝗧, he has to be
Yeah, but I don't know if 𝘂𝗧 can do this one, and this is the issue with Nocturne. The range is so short, he's not going to be able to join this fight. He's just dead. The Nocturne ult range is so tiny.
Yeah, and that's why Nocturne mid is kind of a bit of a trap counter in some ways. Like, you have to be following.
Oh my word!
Instantly.
Oh my word! Wow, that's a big Xayah.
Yeah.
Can I go get Rakan out of the punishment box? I think he needs to see his wife flex.
No.
Wow, jeez.
I can't. I don't think I can handle another excited Rakan moment. He is. Yeah, look, Artemis is 5-0 at this point. So, was 4-0, just got the solo kill there. So, very, very much happy, and that's where you want your goal to be if you're Cerberus. I'd love to get this flip over to see how far ahead of Celebrity they are at the moment. Not that Celebrity's played poorly at all, but it's just been that fight in the top lane funneled so much into Artemis. He is absolutely primed to carry, and it's going to be really hard for SBTC to catch him because he is on one of the safest AD carries.
Yeah. That's really just all there is to say. This is extremely difficult for SBTC. This comp is not meant to fall behind to this degree. The Nocturne mid is meant to be a point of power. It's absolutely not happening. Looking at some item builds, I do see an Everfrost Twisted Fate. That one's fun. I haven't seen much Twisted Fate recently, so keen to see him use that one.
Everfrost is just nutty at the moment, so that's most of the reason. I think the pro scene in general has been a bit late to Everfrost because that active has always been pretty insane. But they decided Leandri's was just a bit too strong. But anyway, Cerberus going to pick up this Rift Herald, and that's going to give them even more pressure in these lanes. Considering how well 𝘁𝗀 has been out rotating Yijin, that could end up being another 2 turrets if 𝘁𝗀 catches Yijin sleeping on the other side of the map. Just keep dropping it away from 𝘂𝗧 because that's where Yijin's camping.
Yeah, pretty much. They're putting a lot of eggs in the 𝘂𝗧 basket, and so far it's not really paying off. There is a bit of a stack towards this mid lane here. They want to try and crack this mid lane open if they possibly can. Open up the map and allow SBTC to keep trying to fight back. But at the moment, Cerberus just has all the control in the world. Pun, he's on the wrong side of town. Slay is here, should be able to bop him up. There's the paranoia to get DR1 close. The Dominus is used, but there's the shutdown. The kill goes over to Yijin's Karthus. That is a little bit of gold back in the pocket of the chicken.
Where is 𝘁𝗀 sitting topside with Yado? Could drop that Rift Herald and rush down those turrets. 𝘂𝗧's coming up to defend, but he is very much alone up here. And Yado already taking these turrets quite fast, despite not having that being anywhere near a Lich-Bane. Just waiting. Probably going to look to save this Rift Herald for another 30 seconds. Use that to pick up this next Ocean Drake. Oh, but plays are being made.
Yeah, but he's just ulting out of there. Slay throws the barrel, but it's about 2 seconds too late. Twisted Fate escapes by the nick of his teeth.
It's a teleport invested for an ultimate. That's so much lost for SBTC. They are just completely... They're being read like a book. Cerberus knew that was going to happen, so pops the ultimate, just teleports away. Of course, it's easy when you pop the ultimate and see, oh, there's like 5 people up here. I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, it just skedaddles. It's not a particularly long cooldown ultimate at this stage. It does have 2 points in it. You can see it's nearly halfway back up already, considering the power of it. That's a very short cooldown.
Yeah,
he'll be very happy with that.
Lots of CDR already, ability haste being built for Yado at the moment. He's got the boots, he's got the Zhonya's, he's got his mythic. He's well underway for. He's got a lot of CDR at the moment. Probably got a few in his runes, and now they're just gonna have to try and press this But
They're
should
definitely
be-
going to try and fight this. There it is. A hook lands onto 𝘁. Dragon has been secured by SBTC. The question is, do they
Why are you
really want to
going?
chase? D1 is charging on in. It's actually a decent start. They pick off 𝘁𝗃. D1 flashing away after he gets hooked. Punt on the front line. 𝘁𝗻𝘃 will get the kill. He gale forces forward, but the box is slowing him up. Another hero hook from 𝘂𝗶𝗆. This man has been ridiculous. This Thresh play, my word. Requiem is not going to kill him. Not through that shield. A wasted 𝗁𝗏𝗃 ult. The dragon was secured though, so SBTC, at least they get something.
No! Use the paranoia, use the Gragas ultimate, and just walk away. You get the dragon for nothing, but they choose to commit to the fight and lose. Now that their only saving grace is they took down 𝘁𝗃, because otherwise that might have opened up a Baron. But here we see just 𝘁𝗻𝗃 is just so strong. He can just walk forward and be on the front line, knowing he has Thresh at his back. We see here, look, decent positioning, well, kind of dodgy positioning, but here we see just from here, drop the barrel in the pit. Maybe you see the Ragnarok come forward, but then he'd be so far separated from his team that it would just be a 1-for-nothing kill, and you'd walk away even happier. But more realistically, you just get the dragon for free. There's a bit of lane positioning.
𝘁 just killed his jungler.
And yeah, look, 𝘁.
Nah,
Yeah.
you can't expect 𝘁 to make that
I
call in
mean-
the moment. Like that, I don't think. No, you can't. That's not actually his fault. That's just unfortunate.
That's not necessarily his fault because someone was gonna die from that. It just chose it to be Yijin, and I don't necessarily think that was the bad call. Keep your flash available if your 𝘁 gives you a bit more playmaking potential. But well, with everything gone, this Rift Tower is just gonna be dropped because they can't use it for pressure anymore. Might as well get it for the main lane damage.
Yeah. Just deal a bit of damage. Cerberus are still in this position where they are just riding their ADC at the moment. 3 items complete for Xayah. She has just finished off the Infinity Edge. So much damage available. Look where Twisted Fate is landing. Instant flash off the line. 𝘂𝗏 perhaps having a little bit too much fun there. Paranoia was used to counter it. They do get the tower though. So in the end, it's not too bad.
Yeah, the good barrel from 𝘁 sort of forcing the flash out of 𝘂𝗏, because if he didn't flash backwards, he would have been left on his own for the body slam in response, and could have been blown up in the short amount of time with the paranoia coming down. So respecting the flash after the barrel, well, respecting the play after the barrel with the flash means nothing's going to come of it, but they get a bit of information on where SBTC is. You can use that to push their vision into this topside jungle, and they should be able to know that and now they have control over the entrances to river at the very least. They can look to play around this Baron. They should be looking to get a ward in the Tri-Brush at the very least, though, as the control ward comes down from Dia to make sure.
I mean, this is just a free Baron.
They're not checking the Baron. They don't think it's happening. Oh wait,
Yeah.
the walls come down. They're aware now. Can you
Yeah,
even steal?
they sniff it. No steal though.
He didn't have flash.
He didn't have flash, he didn't have a blast cone, he was never getting into the pit there. It would have had to be extremely lucky. And they don't get it. Baron goes to Cerberus, and this game is looking done and dusted here at 24 minutes. Cerberus have just been beating SBTC at every single turn.
And Yijin's build is interesting. It's sort of a suicide card, this build. It's one where you want to get right up into the enemy's faces with your Eon and do as much damage as you can to refresh those ticks on your Demonic Embrace and Liandry's. Get as many stats as you can off of the
Twisted Fate.
Demonic Embrace. Twisted
Oh
Fate's still in
my.
base, so it's not likely going to do anything, but
What
they
the
want to be
hell,
extremely safe.
Zeros?
Okay, so Zeros, where he was in that bot lane, he had no vision. He did not know where Twisted Fate was. He didn't know Twisted Fate was still in base. He was scared for his life and wanted to get out of dodge, so he
God.
teleports away.
That's not a very, it's not a very Zeros play.
It's not a very Zeros thing to do, but in some ways that's a good thing. The downside is it highlights the problem with Cerberus's vision, and 𝘁 eats a massive chunk coming out from 𝘂𝗏 there.
Yeah, that was really good job there.
Poking
𝘂𝗏
forward.
using that Everfrost to get the root onto 𝘁. They follow up with a lot of damage. But 𝘁cie is a big boy. He survives and will heal up through that passive. Yijin, very risky, very far forward. Look at 𝘁𝘁𝗺. That is like half of his health with one feather. That 𝘁𝗃𝗃 stops existing. The suicide 𝘁𝗃𝗃, well, he's gone ahead and done it. But not in the best position. The inhib is now under siege. They still have the Baron buff for another minute. And SBTC look like they are on their last legs. And chicken legs, I can tell you, you need both.
Yeah, you're definitely not looking so great from Yijin here on this 𝘁𝗃𝗃. Overreaching for CS when he's a very squishy man. He's a very squishy lich.
Yeah. Not much of a fight.
Dream freezes as my internet cops out.
It's alright. We can still hear you. Try restarting your stream and that. I'll cover you for now. As they do move over to the Ocean Drake, Cerberus look to pick this one up just as a bit of a consolation prize on the way out. They won't be looking towards Seoul. It's just too far away. They are channeling recalls, but they do, as a team, call it off. And now there's a turnaround. The Twisted Fate Ultimate and the teleport. They're going to try and go in. There's TF in the backside. Very, very deep. Throws a card straight onto Celebrity. They're dealing a lot of damage, but it's a good fear out of DR1. Keeps his ADC alive. But Cerberus now have the inside track towards the enemy base. There's a lot of damage going onto Artifact. Paranoia is used. Requiem is used. For not a whole lot. I think 𝘁𝗶𝗹𝘀𝘀 has now dropped out. So I believe this might be a bit of a solo cast for a little bit. Hopefully our good friend comes. Oh, 𝘁𝗶𝗹𝘀𝘀, you there? Can you hear us?
No.
Yeah, okay. I didn't. Production told me he was here. That's a lie. They are not here.
Nope.
Good friend 𝘁𝗶𝗹𝘀𝘀. But hopefully they are back soon. As Celebrity clears out this bottom side.
No, I've got stream now.
Oh, hello. Welcome back.
I think I'm here.
Yep,
Hello.
you're back.
So looks like from the scoreboard, things didn't go well for SBTC trying to engage off that second dragon.
Nope.
Off that Ocean Drake. So,
They're
now looking to be 7,000 gold in the hole. Okay, there's 7k in the hole. They have not a lot of
𝘂𝗏 is into trouble. It's a good flash over a wide wall, so he does get away. God, 𝘁𝗁𝗻𝗔 is
even less pressure now. But 𝘁𝗁𝗻𝗔 is just doing so much damage. He's got 4 items. Gosh. God damn, this man is fed. Where's the... Okay, 𝘁𝗀𝗃𝗍𝗆. Okay, buddy.
That's a Night Harvester.
It's a Night Harvester Gragas spot.
Why not? Why not?
Why not?
That's a very SBTC thing to do.
It's an extremely 𝘁𝗀 thing to do, but it's not going to do him any good because 𝘁𝗁𝗻𝗔 is just so far ahead. Pun has recovered from that early game deficit. He is doing absolutely fine. He just needs to be a big croc in the front and make sure the little bird gets to do her damage.
Oh,
and that's
𝘁𝗀. Well, he got Night Harvested. After that Thresh hook landed, 𝘂𝗏 has been playing a cracker of a game on this Thresh. I want to give props to those that don't get the best KDAs and supports, but he has been playing amazingly. As super minions flood in through that mid lane, they have 2 inhibitors open. They'll want to add a third. As 𝘁𝗁𝗻𝗔 moves over there, begins to clear the waves. SBTC, this is your final stand. Will it be your Dunkirk or your Normandy? As there is the paranoia. They're going straight in onto 𝘁𝗁𝗻𝗆. They want to try and clip this bird's wings. Does not have... No, she does have
Celebrity
the
so
Storm, just asking it for so long.
Celebrity!
They do kill it. Double kill for Celebrity. He does a lot of damage onto the third as well. Yado extremely low. They blow him up. And this is it. It turns out it was their Dunkirk. They managed to turn the war around, at least for now, as SBTC pick up 3. The other 2 escape.
Play is so good it ruins my internet. Because after that, it just went laggy
You're
again.
back. Alright, I can hear you.
Okay.
That was a fantastic
my
play out of SBTC.
It killed my stream at least. This has given them a new lease on life. They are still down quite a lot, but
they're gonna go for the Baron.
Pressure on the map that gives them a reprieve to farm, gives them a chance at Baron. 𝘂𝗏 is up there at 10 seconds. Yado can get in, but Yado can join, but 𝘁𝗁𝗻𝗆 is out of this fight.
It's going to come down to a
Zhu Hao goes
steal.
for the flash steal.
Zhu Hao has the flash. He goes over and he steals it away!
He's got it!
Cerberus take the Baron. Zhu Hao is going to get out of there as well. He's just running. He's not even going to die. And oh my word, SBTC cannot get anything this game.
Celebrity
it's so
is mauling.
unfortunate.
He's mauling. He saves the game, and the team and Eugen loses it on a Baron 50-50. 𝘂𝘂𝗧𝘀 here now. Artemis running his way up the mid lane.
Doing a lot of damage on the
Eugen. They can still fight.
They can. Big shields are going out. Artemis has arrived now. The Twisted Fate will just go back over the wall. Leaves Artemis high and dry. But 𝘂𝗧𝗏 is the only one there. He goes gold. He gets picked up. The hook is good. 𝘂𝘂𝗏 finishes it off. And now Cerberus 4v5 with a Baron buff that they do not deserve. Well, they deserve it, but they should not have. Pushing in to try and end this game. It's round 2 in SBTC's base.
They had their chance while Artemis wasn't there, but a beautiful hook from 𝘂𝗏𝗏 onto Celebrity means that they can't win the fight before the bird arrives. And 𝘂𝗏, he can't get anyone to follow up, and Celebrity's caught again.
Celebrity's in a lot of trouble, but does manage to get to the fountain. There's Artemis throwing out the Feather Storm, doing well for now. Pulls them in. No one goes down. Artemis has to play it very, very carefully, as 𝘂𝗏 is still threatening. They take both towers and then have to back off. SBTC has one last chance.
They are fighting very, very strong in their base, which seems to be the story of the day. Just desperate base defense is coming up good. So Celebrity has been playing his heart out on this 𝘁𝗱𝗆, but just needs to keep away from 𝘂𝗏𝗏. Those hooks are what is stopping SBTC from winning these late game team fights, because that seems to be what they're doing. They are coming in very strong, and Celebrity slowly approaching their 4th item, catching up to Artemis, who can't get any stronger. Only has a GA left in their build path. There we go. Artemis is capped. If this game keeps going, if SBTC can hold on, that Artemis gets less and less effective relative to their own team comp.
It's going to have to be quite the hold. This Xayah is so hard to deal with now. With the GA and the Feather Storm, it's so hard to outlast the rest of Cerberus just enough to get through Artemis. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's SBTC, but it's not going to be easy. Marby, this is it. The final stand of the super big time chicken.
At this point, it's basically purely down to mechanics. This is the SBTC's best shot.
It sure is, but the problem is they need to do it 4 or 5 times. Oh, Artifact throws out the Feather Storm, dodging away from that barrel, does well, but 𝘂𝗏 dives in. He's trying to be the cruise missile, but he can't do it. He goes down immediately. Redemption to try and heal them back up. Artemis is full health. It's a double kill for the Xayah. She's going to look to stack it up. Yijin looks to be the 3rd target. It's a triple kill. Won't be a
chaos and a line. I'm not looking to set things right. This tear I cry falls like healing rain, softly soothes my pain. This surrender, it feels like I kiss the feathers of a hummingbird in flight, breaking up into a million specks of light. Take the shape of an angel in the night, carry you to peaceful peace. My home is my skin, and in the world of within, all I have is my love for you. If I conceal my fear, will I be in the clear? Or am I giving life to phantom pain? 'Cause it's playing out every note in the score. I surrender once more, but as my tears fall, they still kiss the feathers of a hummingbird in flight, breaking up into a million specks of light. Take the shape of an angel in the night, carry you to peaceful peace. Grant me one wish, send me one more kiss on the whispering wind. Like white horses running in the fields, something new begins. This tear I cry falls like healing rain, softly soothes my pain. This surrender, it feels like I'll kiss feathers.
Welcome back, everybody. It is possibly our final game, unless SBTC can get it together and take one back off of Cerberus. It was a dominating game one. 𝘂𝘂 gave shines of hope in the early game, but they were quickly extinguished under the broad wings of Artemis. Welcome back to the VCS English Analyst Desk. My name is Everyday. With me, as always, is 𝘁𝘂𝗀𝘀 and Rebel Fox. Rebel, what was your take on Cerberus's game one?
𝗀𝗏 continues to just well exceed my expectations. Artemis is as good as ever. And the top side of the map played really well. That's all they had to do. That was their entire goal. If they were able to play and defend punt on top side with the Renekton pick that was getting early bullied by Jace, 𝘂𝗏 was able to find his accomplishment, make this Olaf work against the Karthus. They just hit all the marks that you needed them to hit. They had that one kind of fumble, almost lost Baron. It just had to be a hero play from 𝘂𝗏 to snag it. That's all that really mattered. Artemis was able to carry them to a win.
That they were. And Marby, you repped the SBTC flag. You raised it high. How can they come back in game two and make this into a series?
Play more standard. Don't play things like Karthus and Nocturne mid. If you want something that can hunt, that can respond to a Twisted Fate ultimate, I think maybe go for a Rise. Rise is quite strong right now, and DO1's Rise has historically been very good.
That's true.
Eugene, you aren't a good Karthus player. Well, you didn't do particularly bad, but you weren't very impactful. You farmed and then did nothing, which I guess means you're a bad Karthus player because farming on Karthus is brain dead. So just play things that you're good at. Play Skarner, play tanks, play Gragas. I want more out of this mid-jungle duo. and every time they do try to go for something screwbally, they just become the most useless thing in this region. Team Flash is a thing, so that's pretty bad.
𝘂𝗵𝗵.
Well, 𝘂𝗵𝗵 has a win.
It's true.
No,
So it won.
𝘂𝗵𝗵 didn't win.
Oh, didn't it?
No,
Oh, it
they
has a
lost
pick.
that one.
It has a pick.
𝘂𝗵𝗵 was a thing.
Anyway,
They are about as useful as 𝘂𝗵𝗵 was, though.
Anyway, it was a very impressive performance out of Cerberus, no doubt. I am a little bit worried for SBTC because I don't think it was a draft issue. I mean, I don't think the draft helped, but I really do think Cerberus has just shown up and they played a lot better. If you can't snowball a Jace off of the lead that it got, you can't snowball a Jace.
I want to qualify, I don't think it was a draft issue as in the draft was bad. It's just the players can't play the draft.
Oh no, I know what you meant. I didn't mean to contradict you. I was just saying I think it's harder to fix just being the worst team.
Yeah.
You can't fix that. You can fix a draft. You can't fix they're better than us. So, Rebel, you were flying the Cerberus flag. How do they ensure that this one is a 2-0?
I think they played it was a very easy strategy where there was nothing around 𝘂𝗷 at all in the mid lane. The whole purpose of 𝘂𝗷 was to attack the two side lanes, where either A, you're coming into bot side, you're defending your bottom lane of 𝘂𝗵𝗵 and 𝘂 into the other two, and they were already doing a good job in the pure 2-on-2. It was only needed whenever there was aggression coming through from the side of SBTC, and then Pun was the exact same way. If they're making an aggressive play on top side, or if they're defending something, you just move 𝘂𝗷 as fast as possible alongside 𝘂𝗷, and you literally shift from mid into each side lane, defending or aggressing as needed. And that's why, Pun was taking a bunch of aggression from Saros and still doing fine in the laning phase because he was able to pick up a couple of kills, become a frontline. That then, for all intents and purposes, should have easily gone to the Jace. The SBTC could not respond to how quickly 𝘂𝗷 and 𝘂𝗷 were able to unleash on the map.
Yeah. We are in Champions Select though. SBTC over on the blue side, they ban out 𝘂𝗷, 𝘂𝗶𝘀, the 𝘁𝑙𝑖A, and the Thresh. Can't blame them after what 𝘂𝗶𝘀 did. 𝘁𝗏𝗆, Lucian, and 𝘁 taken away by Cerberus.
Cerberus is throwing down and saying Eugen can't play Udyr. I mean, it's going to be snapped up because otherwise...
He's played it plenty of times.
Yeah, but... Or they don't think it's that good because they banned the 𝘁. They don't want to go for the trade. Which I think is reasonable. Don't let 𝘁 through. Taking the Udyr side of that trade is worse overall.
Seraphine is available.
Seraphine is available. Oh,
that's weird. That doesn't usually happen.
Cool, Cerberus win.
She is cracked on this patch.
I will say, I feel like she is slightly overhyped. I don't think she's absolute 100% permaban territory. I think there's still ways around it. I don't think she's a bad champion. I think she's very good and she should be picked in every game you can. But I don't think she's obscenely disgusting.
Okay, Cerberus, SBTC Violet has forgotten how draft works. You're not meant to show everything right off the bat. I think much like I was going to say to Cerberus, on the side of Cerberus, I would like to see Gragas Seraphine as your first two, because that is super flexible. They can go anywhere, but now they've picked up Gragas and it's still like a triple flex in like 5 positions, so the only thing you know is 𝘁𝗍𝗄.
I'm a little bit confused as to why they felt the need to pick the Azir here. Because I actually think keeping your mid lane open to when you can sort of begin to think, where is that Seraphine going? Because you know what's a really good counter to Seraphine mid? And also something that DR1 is diabolically good at? Silence. Not a great champion at the moment, but DR1 is insane at the pick, and it's a ridiculous Seraphine counter. It's so good into Seraphine. So I would have liked to see that option kept open, but nope, it's completely closed off. They've picked their solo lanes, they've picked their jungle. It's just going to be a couple ADC bans that Cerberus don't want to see, but they're playing, like, SBTC are playing poker with their card space up.
Yeah, I mean, SBTC can... They really only have their ADCs to look at, and Cerberus, I think, kind of threw away those last 2 bans because I don't think Celebrity's a big Tristana player. I mean, Slay can play the Galio, but I don't think that's really all that effective if you just against either Gragas or Seraphine if you want to flex those 2 into support.
I think you picked Jinx here for Cerberus. That's not for Cerberus, sorry, for SBTC.
Yeah, I think going for that, like all in on their late game team fighting might be the way to go. Graze for 𝘁𝗃 would be.
He's going to be the pick, bringing a bit of early game damage. It kind of makes sense, particularly if that is going to be a Seraphine mid.
That's Gragas top, I'm going to call it.
I think that makes a lot of sense, but we'll have to see where they do end up going to. It's still a supremely flexible draft. Have to see how SBT rounds theirs out, though. We will be seeing their bot lane come in. There's not too much flexibility. They're just going to take away the Xayah. I think
You could go Xayah Rakan here, and that would give you a very strong a good bot lane that gives you lots of engage potential, because that's what you're really lacking at the moment on SBTC. Slayer's going to go to the Old Faithful. Looks like.
Does look like that's the thought. I don't particularly like this.
The wrong Vestaya.
Also, like, if you pick Set here, you also have 3 champions that run at you and 2 mid-range champions. Is there anything that stops, like, Twisted Fate again for Yato to just attack side lanes?
Nope.
No.
Also, like, picking 3 champions that have to run at you against a Gragas and a Seraphine.
Played Seraphine, and now Gold
And
Card,
Graves.
and now also Smokescreen. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like, they've basically gone, yeah, I know how to counter a road full of glass, running barefoot. We'll pick up all the glass with our feet.
That's
Genius.
Yeah, they were really lacking that hard in.
Come on,
like,
it's a good idea.
yeah, I mean, they were lacking that snap engage, and so they decide we're going to get a champion whose main engage tool is Flash. Yes.
pain.
So, Violet somehow went from being one of the best coaches in the split to getting a lobotomy sometime in the off-season, I think.
Now, the thing to point out here, I don't think this is a good draft out of SBTC from a pick, how they picked it and what they were looking at when they picked it, but I actually think it's a decent comp. In the end, I think it's a good comp. If they get off to a decent start and can execute their team fight, it's a very strong team.
I don't think I disagree with that. I like having Azir is already pretty good. I think Azir is arguably the best just blind mid laner on this patch, even though they picked it way too early and didn't need to pick it whatsoever. They still did get their hands on Udyr. You've got a couple of places where you've got 𝘂𝑐e to attack with you, Jhin, with this Udyr in the early game. And if you do snowball against this, like, you still have Cassio who has to wait. You have to wait on Hugh with this Seraphine. Twisted Fate isn't exactly the best early game damage dealer depending on what your build path is, and Graves is not the jungler he once was. There is possibility to roll over this team. There's not a fantastic front line either. If you get into the back line, there's a lot of potential for it too.
It's true, but you have to give us your final thought, and are we going to a Game 3, Rebel?
No. I don't think we're going to a Game 3. Sorry to say it. CES, they've got a good composition. I think Yato was great on Twisted Fate, and they somehow just ended up with even better response to what it is that SE brought out. So this is another win for CES.
Okay. We'll have to find out. We'll either talk to you after this series or before the next game, depending on how it goes. But don't go anywhere, guys. We've got Summoner's Rift with me and 𝘁𝘁𝗀𝘀𝘀.
So here's the thing. If you were SBTC playing a blind pick game, and you'd picked this composition and be like, all right, this is an alright comp, this is fine, then you'd load into the game and see the enemy's comp and go, oh, piss.
Yeah.
We screwed up. Because your composition is so heavily countered by what Cerberus has picked for themselves. You don't have side lane pressure. There's pause comes at a great time because it lets me ramble.
Yep, go ahead.
You don't have side lane pressure against a Twisted Fate. You don't have... Like, you have okay team fighting, but you can't pick the engages very well because there's too much disengage. You have a decent amount of counter engage, I suppose, but generally counter engage is not actually something you want to be specking into in your team comp, because that means you aren't deciding what's happening. You don't get to control the map. If you get those good lane advantages, you can set up around objectives first and then force them to fight into you, and that's where it kicks in, but that's still not the best thing to do.
I think there is one issue with Cerberus's comp is that Artemis is such a strong point, such the backbone of the comp, and it is hard to play 𝘁cie into this. It is a short-range comp out of SBTC, but 𝘁cie is a short-range ADC. This is not a fun comp to dive into. If this 𝘁cie dives forward, she dies.
True, but I don't think necessarily 𝘁cie has to dive into this competition at all. I think this is more something where you look into maybe getting your like a rapid-fire cannon and just sitting back, letting 𝘂𝗶𝗆 play a more standard front-to-back style team fight if necessary, or you just look to hold the map tight, let 𝘂𝗷 have massive split push pressure, and really hope you can get 𝘂𝗆 and try and get 𝘂𝗆 rolling so that you can be at objectives first and create that side lane pressure, force 𝘂𝗔 to respond, force Tier1 to respond with teleport, and just keep things.
You're correct.
For you.
Your analysis is right. However, in the VCS, ADCs, they see that ultimate button light up and they like to click it.
Slater does. Artemis tends to be a bit better at that.
It's true, but still, maybe I'm just scarred by Slater's 𝘁cie. Hopefully Artemis can show some restraint, because, diving into an Azir, a Set, and a Renekton in the backside, real bad time. Down the bot side, it is going to be
I definitely don't think you want to be...
Go ahead. Oh.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you want to be diving in as Artemis, but I don't think you need to.
I agree. I don't disagree.
I definitely don't think you need to. I think games just set up.
Man, can you imagine how absolutely smurf this draft would be if the 𝘁cie was like a center? I know it's not there, but God, that'd be smurf.
Yeah,
as there is a bit of a fight in the bot side of celebrities. Actually, goes very low. Did have to burn both his heal. Didn't actually have to flash. Oh, they might be getting baited forward, but no. Yejin is actually going to go try and contest a crab, but 𝘂𝗆 meets him, and with the big priority from Cerberus, they're going to have to call their mid laner, but the crab is pathing the nice direction for 𝘂𝗆.
Yeah, so very, very good setup from the bot lane, being able to win that 2v2 trade. That's going to give 𝘂𝗆 control over the crab. It's going to be traded for the top side. So it's not a huge loss for the side of Yejin. But we're just seeing Cerberus coming up, winning this 2v2 advantage. It would have been great with the center, but thankfully they didn't pick center, because then I'd have to hear Yulwei mold for the next week about how they played Seraphine support with farming center.
Oh man, that
I don't want that.
You could actually have just called it after draft if they played fasting center. Oh, that would have been over. But we don't live in that world. We don't get draft checkmates quite as often in VCS. As Pun is being pushed in here by Zeros, hardly a surprise. Is a fair bit down in CS, but it's Renekton versus Gragas. Gragas is always going to be a bit down. It's also Pun versus Zeros. Pun is always going to be a bit down.
Yeah, and I think the main takeaway from that is the only thing that really does is in that top side is it means Yejin gets to be a little bit safer when they decide to play around Herald. But the main thing is, the bigger factor is going to be these dragons, I think, rather than Heralds, because Cerberus just has permanent priority with the double range bot lane. Twisted Fate doing very good at getting the shove down onto the Azir. So good bot lane control should be all in favor of Cerberus. They're going to try and cheat a recall for Artemis right now, and that signals to me they're looking to try and get some pressure down and take this Drake early.
Yeah, and Boris is not present, at least not for Dia1, as he has gone that Verdant Barrier. A very, very broken item on this patch.
Very strong item.
You love to see it.
Very gold efficient. Setting up a freeze on the side of Pun, so that's very good awareness out of him. Zeros, of course, does have the teleport, so should be able to just come in and break that, but forces that out of him. which should be good. Which actually, I don't think he needed to. With the freeze being forced, could have just walked up and saved that teleport advantage for a play towards Dragon. But Yijin, he's hanging around. He's going to go for 𝘂𝗷.
Yeah, 𝘂𝗷 needs to play this one very carefully. We could be seeing a 𝘁cie𝗱𝗆 shuffle into the 𝘂𝗔, zooming into the lane. But he's just going to call it off in the end. The lane was not in a position. 𝘂𝗷 was playing incredibly defensively. I think he read that Dia wants, oh, suddenly you're not summoning soldiers and pushing me in? I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yijin takes away a crab. They trade control wards.
Better giveaway from Dia plus a bit of tracking on the side of Cerberus. Zhuhao would have probably said Yijin's probably hanging around the top side of the map. Don't go there, but Dia makes a play anyway. 𝘂𝗷's forced to flash. And that should give Cerberus control for that dragon.
I mean, SPTC.
Yep, that's the one. I see SE and think, say word.
I know, right? I know. I do the exact same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, SE, Cerberus. That's how that's spelled.
Why can't they have a 4-letter tri-code? I mean, it'd be a quad code, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I know. But anyway,
one extra letter.
Who cares? They can just borrow team secrets. But anyway, it is going to be, as you said, the flash burnt out of 𝘂𝗷 does take a lot of power out of him early on. Dia trucking him there with that soldier. Very, very well. But they're not actually following up on it. He does still have that Destiny Gate. He cheats topside, but doesn't pull the trigger. And they had eyes on him the whole time.
I understand Reginald a lot more now because he just wants to bring his Vietnamese teammates over because that was a blue card out of 𝘂𝗷 for that trade and that did not go very well for him.
Well, blue card's actually the most damage. I actually think he did that on purpose.
It's the most damage, but you don't land the... Okay, never mind. 𝘂𝗔's dead. And
𝘂𝗵 is dead.
Looks like a flash E from 𝘁cie set up that kill. Yijin in position to follow up. Easy damage. That's going to result in a dragon from them. On the blue card versus gold card point, gold card at least guarantees your wild cards, which were missed by.
So just doing set things.
Set the lot of damage, and Yijin not actually in position to get an assist, so just going to end up picking up the dragon. Going to be traded on the top side for this Rift Herald. So good response from Zhuhao. Can use that to try and get one of these other lanes rolling, and Pun actually winning out on a lot of these trades now that he has the Bramble Vest. So very, very good work out of him, showing up a lot better in game 2. And with Zhuhao appearing, they may just dump even more gold onto him. Nope. Never mind.
They don't choose to. Something we didn't point out, we didn't really have a chance, there's a lot going on, is part of the reason D1 is winning these trades so hard is that is a hail of blades Azir.
Yes, it means your early game laning is very, very strong. And
the shuffle is coming in. The hitbox on that one, that was a proper big scoop. And 𝘂𝗷 is dead.
𝘂𝗷 is donezo. Yijin not even having to flash to get that bear slap down, and Zeros is going in on Pun.
Yeah, but Pun should just be able to walk this one out. He has the barrel.
Barely bop
he's fine.
Just does it. Bit of a wasted ultimate from Zeros. Just looking to get the shove most likely, so if he resets here, that would explain his decision a lot more. Otherwise, he just kind of wasted that. But 𝘁cie going for a bit of a warding mission. And now SPTC should have a bit of a lead, but it's the main thing they need to do is keep control over the waves and keep the push going so they can set up around objectives first. Because they don't have the best engage, as mentioned before, especially with flash down on 𝘁cie. He can go for cheeky angles.
Pun has no mana. He needs to play this really carefully. He actually turns around.
Flash, so it shouldn't be a kill.
Oh, he's going to go for it. Zeros incredibly low. Can Pun get the last auto? He can't. Twisted Fate Ultimate's going to the bot side. Observers, get us down there. And this is going to be 4 in the bot. They're going in onto the set. 𝘁cie goes down. Featherstorm to dodge the encore. It's just going to be the one in the end. Herald summoned up for Artemis.
Just not enough damage on the top side, but that's going to be the Rift Herald. They're going to get a lot of play gold out of this, as it's traded back for 1 in the mid lane, but that's definitely just an overall win from Cerberus. Can they set up a bit more? Maybe get another kill? Probably not, unless the poke goes well.
Oh, Celebrity
gosh.
going very
There's the
low.
poke.
There it is. The killer in comes on in. 𝘂𝗶𝗹 tanks the tower for far too long, though. And oh no, it's Graves under a tower. It's Graves under a tower. It's all gone wrong. No!
So, Yijin definitely outplaying the Graves there in terms of dodging out the tower, and then 𝘁𝗏𝗻 getting a little bit greedy. 𝘁 on the reset because he's respawned means that 𝘁𝗏𝗻 has to run back through the tower range. And yeah, here we see they get a good amount of poke down onto Celebrity, means 𝘁𝗏𝗻 commits to it, but good response from Yijin. 𝘂𝗶𝗹 is, he's a Seraphine. He's so squishy. 𝘁𝗏𝗻 decides to walk back towards Yijin instead of walking up through the bush, and that probably would have saved him from 𝘁 if he did that, but no, just put himself in a position where he was just gonna get bopped, and that ends up being a 2-for-2 kill in the trade in the bot lane.
No. 𝘁𝗏𝗻 is dead, and 𝘂𝗏𝗺 is playing really well.
𝘂𝗏𝗺, they've got their they have the 𝗂𝗏𝗺 Xayah at the moment, and it's a 3-1, so it's not quite as scary as 𝘁𝗏𝗻's was, but it's getting there. It's getting there. Yijin making lots of good moves on the Zudia, and we're seeing if 𝘂𝗏𝗺 decides to play standard instead of wacky, they actually know how to play their composition, because turns out easy compositions are easy to play, and if you have good players, they aren't wasting too much time figuring out how your composition works, and they can just focus on styling on the enemy. So here we see Zeros maybe getting a little bit over aggressive here, could be baited in, but 𝘂𝗏 right. not looking for anything, just looking for a place to reset and finish his 𝗂𝗏𝗺 off.
Yeah, that's a big power spike for him. Getting that dash and that bolt damage definitely ups his burst to a potentially lethal level. We do need to see some plays coming out of this Twisted Fate, though. So far, really just going down to that bot lane. That's all he's gotten done. But with the amount of pressure that's being applied, 𝘁 roaming up here again. It's understandable while Yado is having a fair bit of trouble here.
Yeah, and we're seeing 𝘁 do what 𝘁 does. He just gets out of lane and starts trying to be everywhere else. Whereas Celebrity has to just try and play 1v2 into this lane. Seraphine not the best at roaming after the set, so we're teleporting D1 down for some reason. I think just
the threatening dragon, I think.
He was coming from base, make sure no one's around there. But now he's back in mid. So is everyone else, so he has to be careful
𝘂𝗏𝗺 was used. 𝘂𝗏𝗺 was used. They know exactly where everyone is. He's absolutely dead. They did use a couple of ultimates for that one. The Encore is gone, but 𝘂𝗏𝗺 don't want to take a gamble around this one. Ooh, Yijin lurking, actually.
It'll be a numbers disadvantage regardless. They just need a gold card, and Yijin can't go in, so nothing's going to come from it. That's a Mount Drake over to the side of Cerberus. Not the best Drake for them, really, because they're not looking to survive a lot of bursts from the side of 𝘂𝗏𝗺. And now we move to an Infernal Rift, so there's going to be a lot of fights coming around these next few dragons. But the Rift Herald is probably the next thing on the map that people are looking for, and Yijin making his way up there, has the head start, but could get collapsed upon. He doesn't have his team here yet.
Yeah, there's no vision, though.
They're not aware of it.
Yeah.
Not aware of it, so 𝘁𝗏𝗺's just going to clean the way.
Yeah. 𝘁𝗏𝗺's already pathing down. 𝘁 is already up here as well. He's quite the traveller on this set. A lot of pings onto Gragas. Ooh,
Whoa.
Pun. Better be looking at his screen as 𝘁 is charging in, but the belly bop is enough to get him away. He's fine. On the other side, 𝘁𝗏𝗻 doing a number on this tower. Of course, this is his second Herald, so...
And we've completely missed that the bot lane turret for Cerberus has disappeared, so it's going to be So they took that at some point, and that just means that this rotation into the mid lane is absolutely free. They've got the
this is a fumble from Cerberus. Cerberus is fumbling. I don't think they can quite get 2 because they don't have a wave. Pun gets there in time, but they get a lot of damage down. They open up the mid lane, and 𝘁cie is very dangerous. Showstopper is used. Barrel fails. 𝘂𝗷𝗀 does go gold at the perfect time. Dodges the blade caller. They should be able to get away with that heal. Well played out of 𝘂𝗷𝗀, but it's a lot of resources used.
A well played counter to the dive from Cerberus, and overall it's a 2-for-2 in turrets. But Dio's going to be getting a little bit more turret damage down on the top side. It's not going to get another one, but so overall the map works out about even with a little bit extra gold and pressure going to SBTC, because breaking over that mid lane turret is actually breaking open the entire outer ring of turrets is more useful than just hard shoving making that long lane that 𝘂𝗏, if he really wanted to, could just sit there and eat all the waves that just are going to keep streaming in.
Yep.
Forever.
Very true. Yeah, Cerberus is
Vietnam. It's not happening.
Well, I don't think it has to happen, honestly. I think 𝘂𝗏 actually can use his power right.
No, he's not freezing. I got excited for a second.
No, I actually don't know if it would be.
No, he is freezing.
Oh, he is. Interesting. All right, fair enough.
That's very good for the next 2 minutes. He can freeze for 2 minutes, and realistically, Cerberus can't do anything. There's the passive for Azir in the top lane, keeping him safe under his fake turret, and there's nothing too playful for Cerberus. So that's just 2 minutes of free golden experience. Okay, the freeze has broken, but it should set up to a massive slow push that should eventually crash into that bot lane turret, giving them a lot of pressure for this next Drake in a couple of minutes. So again, I think the freeze would have been slightly better, but small things. He's not really gonna miss out too much. It's gonna hit 𝘂𝗷𝗀 the most, as he has to really reach in to get the CS and get this wave pushing and crashing. But
this is dangerous.
Oh no, because it is still pushing back towards SBTC. So
yeah, they can hold this.
Cerberus has to be very. They're not gonna get much, if anything, out of this bot lane for another minute. So very good work. I just say that 𝘂𝗏 just deletes the wave. Thanks, 𝘂𝗏. You're a minute early, mate.
I don't actually think this is a terrible decision. I think they want to use this Renekton's power at the moment. They don't like the thing people sometimes forget about phrases is someone has to be there. Like, you actually dedicate a person.
Yeah, I mean, it's true, but 𝘂𝗏 doesn't really do anything at the moment on this Renekton. Sure, Renekton's best up in the early mid stages of the game, but he's 0-0-0. He's not exactly accelerated particularly fast. And I think more denying the ability for the Twisted Fate to do work is more important than using the Renekton and maximizing that. I think because the linchpin of Cerberus' composition is this Twisted Fate, whereas the Renekton's just a guy. He's just a big guy.
With the dragon spawning in 15 seconds, I think we can move on from the
yes, we can.
Discussion.
Basically, nothing happened, so we got to discuss freezes for 2 minutes because nothing's on the map.
It's rare for us in the VCS, so we get 2 minutes just to talk about things no one cares about. So, that's most of my day when I talk to my friends, but hey.
Yeah, normally I have to ask my roommate to talk about things that no one cares about.
Infernal Drake has been started up by SBTC, but Cerberus is here. 𝘂𝗏 on top of a ward, they just call it off. They say, nope, not worth contesting this one. 𝘁𝗏 gets found out, takes a fair bit of damage, but they won't try and follow up. It is a set. Very deceptively tanky. Twisted Fate ultimate is used. I think it's just going to be just to check where everyone is.
Just for information. Plus, if he needed to rotate to the mid lane because they were going to try and rush Baron or something, he can do that. But realistically, just for information, just to make sure Cerberus don't get any SBTC rather don't get any funny ideas. But we did see there a bit of a microcosm of what the issues of SBTC's comp are. As 𝘁𝗏 was looking for the flank, it was just ate a gold card, then an Everfrost, and just kind of sat there looking like a dunce for a couple of minutes. As Pun might be caught. Oh no, he is.
He's in trouble, but he does have the flash. He is Dragon has that Frozen Fist completed, so he's okay.
Tanks, man. I saw these pugs on the minimap all collapsing in on Gregors, and then was like, oh, he's caught. Looked at his health bar. Oh, his health bar's not going down. He's fine. Oh, never mind. He is caught. Tanks, man. I missed
tanks.
them. I've missed them.
I've missed him too. Gragas is a weird one, but I love him because he is a tank. But this top lane tower not able to be pressured down by 𝘂𝗷𝘀. This split push from the TF not being activated yet. It's only 21 minutes into the game. We do want to see that start to become threatening. He actually just got his rapid fire cannon, so immediately the auto attacks are more threatening. Celebrity ults and Gale forces away from that encore.
Good players out of Celebrity, and we're seeing when it comes to the itemization from
Artemis is flying forward. Word.
He might have overcommitted.
He might be okay. 𝘁cie chasing down. Does he have the showstopper? He doesn't. Oh, Artemis is just dead, though. They're going to try and go in on him. 𝘂𝗎 goes down first. He gets a kill that he should never have gotten. Pun now. Tanking 3. Can he get his way out of there? There's a face breaker. 𝘂𝗏 comes over the wall. Cerberus a hard winning fight. They've got 4. 𝘂𝗏 slinks away under the tower. They're going to take the tower down, and then this crocodile needs to find a way home. He gets stunned up. Pun gives him the bop. He will go down to the tower, and 𝘂𝗏 actually makes the great escape. Never mind. 𝘂𝗏 brings the shotgun, but Cerberus out of nowhere picking up a massive win.
And Artemis just comes up huge, stays alive for so long that may be able to grant Cerberus something. They're pinging onto the Baron, but set first. They do have teleport on 𝘂𝗷𝘀, so they may be able to commit to it with Artemis and 𝘂𝗏 beelining straight there. But I don't think it's going to amount to much. SBTC are also back out on the map. It does bring the gold back to even, though. So there are still pings going down. So maybe SBTC are the ones who are looking
They're trying to sneak it off the reset.
𝘁𝗏. And yeah, look, 𝘁𝗏 flubs the 𝘁𝗏𝗆, and they take so long to kill Artemis. They don't have much damage despite the haymaker coming through. The ult from 𝘁𝗏 completely whiffs, and because of that, they are down so much. Celebrity, who was taken down earlier, gets finished off by 𝘂𝗷𝗀, and with both carries dead, 𝘂𝗏 is just a useless policeman, a useless crocodile, and he cannot do anything. So eventually, just gets 4-man dove. He's 1 against 4. It doesn't do much. He does get a kill out of it, actually. So
yeah, he's got 1.
Small victories.
That's about as well as he could possibly do, but they do lose the tower. The Baron, in the end, no one started it up. But 𝘂𝗎 is lurking. Artemis getting way too close. He has to find a way out of this one because 𝘁𝗏 is bearing down. Seraphine doing... Look at the Seraphine protection, though. The champion is completely cracked. 𝘂𝗏 just heals him through everything. The encore keeps him safe. 2 members of SBTC are gone, and it looks like they didn't even touch Cerberus. That should be the Baron, and this is turning very, very quickly.
Yeah, there are 2 tanks, and they just walk at you. They don't have enough damage. The damage is just nowhere to be seen, so they can't actually burst down Artemis. 𝘂𝗏 just heals up the meager damage that they can put forth, and they blow up the front line for SBTC. Now they're going in 3v5.
They can try and make an attempt. That's a good 𝘂𝗎 ult. This is a big turn. Celebrity is popping off. He gets the massive blade caller. They've picked up 3. 𝘂𝗏 and Pun now on the run. They're the only Baron buffs to get out of there. SBTC flip it right back around.
Hero play from the carries of SBTC, that's going to net them a dragon as a reward. They don't manage to clean off all the Barons. It's still on the prime members for the side lanes. But look at this. Dear, such a good setup. Wombo combo from Tier 1 and Celebrity. Melts through 𝘂𝗎 instantly, so there's no more of that pesky healing. And then, Pun and 𝘂𝗏, a bit too far away, can easily keep them at arm's length so they don't end up being taken down. But that's going to get soul point for SBTC. I will get this eventually. And now SBTC, they're actually in a gold disadvantage at the moment. It's not a big one. It's about half a K. But
at this stage of the game, that's very irrelevant. But they do have soul point.
But and more importantly, they have the better late game team fight in terms of raw damage.
Oh, that's not good.
If that doesn't happen, if they don't get picked off immediately like that, not having Celebrity is going to be a big downer for them in terms of wave clear. So this is going to be at least one turret, and they could very much siege very effectively on
Celebrity is so much of SBTC's power. It's so hard for SBTC to actually stop Cerberus here without the Xayah. Yeah, this is just an in here. That's such a silly mistake out of Celebrity. We'll have to see exactly how that started up. Not sure what he got caught by, but it shouldn't happen.
It was most likely an ultimate into 𝘁𝗀 from Twisted Fate, but he is half their wave clear. The other half was 𝘂𝗏 just faffing around in the top lane. He cancelled his recall for some reason, and so it just meant that it's a free inhibitor from Cerberus, and that's going to create a lot of pressure when it comes to taking this next dragon. And even this, that's how much Baron is left. I'm cooked.
It's late. Don't worry. It's late.
I'm cooked. But here we just see,
okay, fair enough. That's actually
Destiny,
not. I mean,
𝘁𝗀, Artemis.
there's not much Celebrity could
Engages
do
from 5 screens away.
once he was that far out. But he really, I think they don't have the vision for him to be that far pushed out. I don't know.
No, absolutely not.
That's a hard one.
You have to rely on the buddy system against this sort of composition. You want to be at least 2 people, unless you're Renekton, who is very tanky and can just sort of escape a lot of silence. But,
Oh
dear.
no. This Azir has been so poor, but Yijin getting hunted down, doing a lot of damage. There's a gold card. He does finally die. The Encore picks up onto Xerath. Just pull him in for a little bit. That's a big barrel. Yado on the backside, a little bit alone. Has to flash away. 𝘂𝗏, he's burning. His feathers are hot.
And it's just so tanky and so sticky.
Oh, it's a big showstopper. A lot of damage.
Oh
They're
my
turning it
God,
around.
Celebrity.
Celebrity. He's going on in, but the Blade Caller quite close enough. Pun. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. And SBTC come out on top. Celebrity is keeping them in this game.
SBTC,
They're not done.
They're still chasing.
They're not done. Oh, the blast cone is
Cuba's
used.
caught. Cuba's dead.
𝘂𝗏 has been left to die. Has no chance up against this crocodile. Artemis is trying to turn it around. You fool!
Leave the support. The support is worthless. Be a solo 𝑀QAD carry. Ignore your support. Let them die. That is what SBTC needs. They get the ace. That means they can clean up this pressure in the mid lane they had to give up for that fight, because despite winning that fight in the first half, minions were bearing down on their Nexus turrets. But because of that turnaround, they get so much free reign, so much extra gold. It's gonna get them to the next breakpoint. Xayah is gonna probably get at least a Zeal from this next back, I would imagine. And here we just see, it feels so weird because it starts so poorly for us.
But it's just collapsed.
Complete whiff from 𝘂𝗏.
They're corralled.
Yeah, Yijin completely caught out on the wrong side. And here it looks good. Here it looks so good. Then it's just a beautiful, beautiful re-engage from 𝘁 and Celebrity. Or is it Xerath? I don't know. Either way, it's a huge re-engage. Yeah, 𝘁 lining up with that haymaker. Celebrity with the blade caller doesn't quite catch it out.
It was a 5-man showstopper. It's a 90% slow.
Yes.
The damage wasn't that huge, but it's a 90% slow on all 5 members.
Yeah,
Insane.
I'm sorry. I did end up missing that showstopper because my screen is jumping.
It's alright, there was a lot going on.
Bad today.
Bit of a catch onto Xerath. He takes a lot of damage, but there's no one there to actually finish him off. Artemis doesn't want to leap over there with the killer instinct, and I think that's the correct call. This is interesting now, because Celebrity and 𝘂𝗏 can carry this game, but so far their positioning has left a bit to be desired. If Celebrity or 𝘂𝗏 are caught out of position, the game can end in an instant. But we are at an infernal soul point.
It's really rough for SBTC because their front line in Xerath is at half health, and the zoning from Pun is just so
Going
strong.
down,
But
there
you
it
should
is,
go-
Infernal
you should
Soul
go-
is secured. takes it away, but the encore is big. They've got to actually win the fight on the other side. So SBTC, they pick up one. It's the 𝘁cie going down. A disaster. 𝘁cie charging forward. 𝘂𝟏 can't quite get onto 𝘂𝗏, but look at the damage out of the Infernal Soul. This 𝘁cie is spreading her wings.
The kiting was not enough from Cerberus. They tried so hard, but in the end, 𝘂𝗏 and Artemis are removed from the map. That's going to be an instant Baron call as well. Hyejin is down, but so is 𝘂𝗏, so it's not like they can't really outburst them with who they have left on the Rift. What's Pun going to do? Throw a Q over the wall and hope for a miracle, I suppose, but he's not even going to try that.
This is a very close game, but I think SBTC have done a very good job of scaling here. Just in a very, very powerful position, and it doesn't feel like there's much that Cerberus can do. We needed to see them activate a 1-3-1. They needed to use their side lane Twisted Fate. They didn't do it, or at least didn't do it enough. And now it might be far, far too late.
Yeah, it's definitely far too late. I mean, there is still the potential you can do some great macro and run them around the map. Pun is still a very tanky individual, but at this point, the rest of your team will melt so quickly in the face of this double buff SBTC that Yado cannot get the pressure done. He went for a much more supportive build by rushing that rapid fire second. And that means he wasn't able to get a huge 1-3-1 split push pressure going because he didn't have the Lich Bane. Now he has it, so his damage on turrets is good, but there's no turrets left. It's far too late for that pressure to come through. Now it's just up to these team fights, and SBTC have that advantage in the bag.
That was brutal. A lot of damage coming out of this Azir, and hardly a surprise. 320 farm and 3 kills on him. He has all the gold in the world. 4 items completed for 𝘂𝟏. Looking very, very threatening, of course. That is ignoring the 𝘁𝗓. 4.5 items, has the QSS. No long-range gold cards to catch Celebrity out. Going to be a very, very slippery bird. And as someone who has tried to wrangle birds into their cage every day, it's not much fun. But Hyejin is caught out. The bear man is in some trouble. They're trying to go in onto Zeros, but he just turns it straight around. Yado managing to get away for now. Zhuhao is on half health. It's just the 1-for-1 at the moment. There's the Twisted Fate ultimate. It's just for information. The teleport is going to come in.
Yado.
This is an absolute madman play, but they get on top of 𝘂𝟏. It's a disaster here for SBTC. They picked up 2 with the 3rd earlier. Oh, but they turn around. Yado just a little bit too far forward. They're all going to chase onto Zeros. You might kill him, but it's going to take so long. There's nothing on the map for them to get. Can they interrupt this? They can. Yes, they do. They have the Gragas ultimate. This crocodile should be getting sent to the graveyard. He is, but there's nothing for Cerberus to get on the map, so this fight doesn't mean much.
Fight doesn't mean much at all. Again, it brings the gold back to even, but there's still the whole Infernal Soul business that's keeping SBTC in the lead in terms of combat effectiveness. So it means that I guess that Cerberus can get closer and closer to more items and they can try to pull that sort of thing off again. But, oh man, they are looking for Yado almost to be an assassin just because he went in, completely blew up 𝘂𝟏, and that was enough for Cerberus to win that fight. But can they pull that off again? Can they ace Celebrity? That is the key. That is the key point here.
And it's so difficult to kill Celebrity at this point. It's a 𝘁𝗓 with a Guardian Angel. There's so much time to just... You get on top of her, you kill her once, then she feather storms and gets away. It's so hard. They've got to chunk through so many layers of defense, and they have to do it. This 𝘁𝗓 can 1v5 at this point. It is such a powerful pick.
Both summoners up, ultimate available. Guardian Angel, QSS, this bird should almost never die unless she gets caught in a 1v5 position, and I don't think that's going to happen for Celebrity. I think they snuck away the
I'm not actually sure where that went in the end.
red buff there, so small victories.
Ooh, Artemis gets chunked a little bit, but that poke doesn't really stick with the Seraphine
I
around.
went to one of the AD carries.
Yeah, one of them got it. But Yijin's playing very aggressively here on this Udi. He is very tanky. He takes a long time to die, but does need to be very, very careful. 40 seconds on the Elder.
He's taking less and less time to die. He needs probably a Randuin's to be picked up against these double AD carries because there's a lot of crit damage that comes through. But with the Lord Dominic's guard finish for 𝘁cie, Yijin doesn't actually live for very long up against Cerberus if he's in a grouping. So we're 15 seconds. This is where the game ends. One way or another. And you'd have to, and it all comes down to the pick.
Dio gets a decent chunk to start it out. There is
Zeros is not the pick.
Sundisk
Don't know what to tell you. That's actually what SBTC needs.
Oh, Slay goes on in. He gets blown up, but he's done a lot. He's done a lot to buy space, but there's a good Seraphine ult to turn it around. Zeros has to pock all these shields. They're going on in. 𝘁𝗃, can he get the damage done? Celebrity chasing him down, doesn't actually convert the kill. Artemis has not gone into this fight yet. Used his ultimate on the initial play. Pun trying to catch this crocodile, trying to take him down. Can't quite do it, but the Elder Dragon is still there. They're going to pull it out. They're just going to trade it for the Baron. Marby, they're trading it for a Baron. I know what that makes you think, and I don't know if they're even going to be able to do it in time.
I don't know either. They do have the Infernal Soul, and DR1 is there on Azir, so they should be able to burn it down in time. It's getting out that may be the issue. And we saw in that last fight, I'll try and sneak it in.
No, I don't think you can.
The damage cannot follow up on the engage of Yijin and Slay, so that's what loses them the fight.
Oh, there's a tag on Zeros. They stop the back.
No ultimate for Artemis yet.
Oh, and they go forward. They managed to get him. Zeros will go down. One Baron buff removed from the map, but it's Elder versus Baron. And we've seen this before. You take the Elder every time.
Yeah, if Cerberus can hold... if SPTC can hold on for about 2 minutes, they get a little bit extra time with the Baron buff. But that's not going to be enough for them. That teleport is so early.
What is this teleport? P is so
it's Pun.
Pun has been caught out, and DR1 fluffs the ultimate. No!
DR1, you almost certainly could have picked up that kill there. It was Pun, so it would have taken a long time to die. But now they're so far out of position.
Alone.
They chased that for so long. That's going to be another inhibitor down. They can rotate that into mid lane. This is disaster for SBTC. They may have just lost this game. Oh my god, that damage from Artemis.
It's a lot of damage, but again, they have a Seraphine. She can heal them back up. She just needs a little bit of time. They get double inhib. The Baron buff will last a little bit longer than the Elder. SBTC might be able to do something with that about 45-second buffer. But Cerberus are back in full control due to some just flat-out mistakes by SBTC.
And we have to see what the next move is. SBTC do not have the engage to try and get in and make their picks, whereas Cerberus, they have all the pick potential in the world. If someone steps even a smidgen out of place, that person is removed from the map. Celebrity, you have to be a little bit careful there. They still have the Elder buff, and oh my god,
there's a catch on the Yijin, but he's so fast, they actually can't lock him down. He gets to the blast cone. There's a gold card doing a lot of damage. Pun gets over the wall, but the belly bop doesn't actually land, and now there's a bit of a split here in Cerberus. 𝘁𝗃 has been chunked on out. He's in some trouble. Zeros goes forward, gets the shutdown. 𝘁𝗃, he's up against the wall. Here's Celebrity. He's doing it though! Marby, he is doing it! Dia dives in! They've cleaned him off the rift! And Cerberus have been wiped!
It came down to the last team fight, but DR1 shows up massive there with Celebrity, and they turn it around. Now it's just a race against time. They have 40 seconds before Artemis is 50 seconds before Artemis is up. They have a deep. They have a Baron buff. That should be game. I don't want to say anything.
No, it's definitely game. They 100% win here. There's no time for Cerberus to respawn. This was a huge mistake chasing onto Yijin. They overextended for the kill. They got sectioned off. 𝘂𝗶𝗆 was trapped with nowhere to go. No one could collapse onto Celebrity. And SBTC, in a 40-minute back and forth, absolute banger of a match, they will send us to a game 3. And oh boy, give us another one like that and I won't complain for a minute.
We're going to see a quick replay before we end. And we just see Yijin. He survived so long. But they think they have the cash. They still have the Elder Drake at this point. Reminder. And look, it just blows up Yijin there. But here we see heroics from Celebrity. Celebrity takes matters into his own hands, ulting forward to get the big blade caller back. Then Dia1 follows up with the ultimate right there. And so much damage out of those 2 late game carries.
Fantastic performance.
My God.
Wow. Whew. We need to catch our breath. Production, are you ready? Okay.
Come on, man. You had a whole extra replay.
Anyway, we will let production just get their break ready. Don't worry. This was definitely a very, very close game. Game 1 was didn't bode well for SBTC, but they show us why they are the equal second place team at the moment. We call them pretenders. They definitely want to be contenders. Let's see if they can do it in game 3. I really hope you're ready by now because I'm running out of throws. Just go, yeah. Welcome back. It was a banger of a game too. Cerberus tried to bite down, but all three heads missed. Big Time Chicken made the run up to the Nexus. They take us to a game 3. And that one, last one, couldn't have been closer. Welcome back to the VCS English Analyst Desk. My name is Everyday. With me, as always, is 𝘁𝘂𝗎𝘁𝗍 and Rebel Fox, and our special guest, 𝘁𝗂𝗏. He's chilling on my shoulder. Rebel, what was your take on game 2?
We came out early, and there was a lot of shenanigans that came about. Felt like Cerberus kind of stumbled out of the gate, but this game boiled down to, yet again, it's just Artemis versus Celebrity, where this time it was actually Celebrity who was the one who had his hands on the Xayah. The safety of it just can't be matched by anything. Like, it's really, really difficult. I think whatever team is on red side potentially has to consider that they got to go to Xayah before they got to go to 𝘁𝗏𝘁𝗀, or at least waiting on the 𝘁𝗏𝗁 pick before you see what the other is, because right now it's just not working in this series.
Yeah. 𝘁𝘁𝗍𝗶, what are some of your takes now that we've had a few minutes to de-stress from casting?
I think I can't think. that fight, the entire game just doesn't exist beyond 30 minutes, and then it was just team fight with 𝘁𝗶𝗆 does something, they win. Team fight with 𝘁𝗶𝗆 doesn't do anything, they lose. And that's just how it seemed to go back and forth for a few minutes. And then eventually 𝘁𝗆1 did something, and the death time was just too long for Cerberus to do anything about it.
It's true. But the question is, of course, we now have another game. SBTC wants to, of course, close it out, as does Cerberus. Rebel, you predicted 2-1 Cerberus, as did I, but you're the analyst, so I'm going to make you do it. How does Cerberus close out game 3?
Enable Artemis, control top side of the map. Those are your two biggest things. It's what you did in game number 1, whereas Yulwei was able to get his hands on something that was able to control the top side. The Twisted Fate was able to roam around at both side lanes equally, and you were able to defend pretty much all sides of the map and able to get your ADC during the course of the early game. But effectively, it seems like Artemis and you, they're doing really, really good work in bottom lane on their own. If you're able to isolate that lane and keep everybody apart from them, I think in a vacuum, they're just going to win this game for you anyway. It doesn't really matter. So it's about defending the remainder of your lanes on the side of Cerberus, getting something comfortable, especially for 𝘁𝗏. The Gragas was not a terrible pick, but again, it didn't do what it needed to during the course of that game to find the success that they needed.
And 𝘁𝗁𝗍, you repped the flag of the chickens. How do they buck their way over the line?
So it's definitely going to come down to 𝘁𝗆1. When he's actually looking like he's playing the game properly, when he's contributing, they look so much better. On the Nocturne, he was absolutely useless. On the 𝘁𝗆, it was about 50% of the time he was useless. Sorry. I saw something that made me very upset.
He's just been given the VETV MVP, which is an absolute crime. But the VETV MVPs have been a joke for about 3 years. So
yeah, but it still never gets any better. But so yeah, it comes down to getting 𝘁𝗆1, getting Yi Jin onto comfort. The Udyr looked a lot better than the Karthus. Was able to control the bot side river, get the dragons rolling, and that gave them exactly what they needed to get into a position where they could win the game. And because that early soul kept them competitive for quite a while.
Propped them up.
We do head into champion select. Cerberus return to the blue side. SBTC on the red. Camille and Lucian have been permabanned. SBTC take out Lilia and 𝘁𝗏𝗆. Same as last game. Where would we like to see these two teams head in the draft, Rebel?
Again, I think bot side priority is really important for both teams, because it seems like bot lanes are, or at least both ADCs are making significant impacts. This there's something missing. Weren't they banning Zoe the entire series?
Yes.
Yep, it's Yado's Zoe.
It's got to be a Zoe for Yado then.
Yeah, first
Right?
pick Zoe.
It just has to be, right?
I think
Seraphine is also available still on Seraphine too, though.
This might be a bait. They might be baiting this and saying, you take Zoe, we take... Cerberus doesn't take it. But 𝘁𝗆1 doesn't really play Zoe. He's not a Zoe player.
No.
No.
Oh, don't pick that.
They may have also had something in mind in terms of banning, in terms of an answer to Zoe, and then just kind of forgot 𝘁𝗱𝗆 was a champion. If they lock this 𝘁𝗍𝗆, I'm gonna be so upset because it's in theory the best AD carry, but it's just been answered with Xayah so effectively that I don't think it's really worth this pick, this high priority at this stage in the rotation. So maybe we see a Gragas lock-in. I think that's a good takeaway from Pun at the very least. It's very flexible between 3 positions. Yujin plays a very good Gragas. Or we're just going to pick set for 𝘁 and just not really go for the VCS Classic better draft losers.
I mean, this is a strong pick for 𝘁. I just question whether it needed to be picked there.
No.
Ooh, Ezreal 11.4. Finally!
Holy. Okay, thank you.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you,
Rebel.
both of you.
Run with it.
Yeah, it's not even my pick. I hand this one to Mobby because he's the one that's been wanting this far more than all of us.
I mean, I wanted it on Slater. It's such a fantastic pick. Right now, Ezreal has always been absurdly safe and really strong, and it's just a matter of does he have items he can use. Well, finally we've figured out what items he can use, and he is working extremely well with them. So
yep. I've been playing a bit of ADC recently. I've climbed 3 divisions just on the back of Ezreal, and I'm not a good player. This champion is real strong right now.
Yeah.
Super duper safe, so much damage.
And if these are the 2 bot lanes we expect to see, there's so much range on Cerberus aside compared to SBTCs. They may as well not get to play the game.
At this point, they're basically like it's World War One, and Cerberus are manning the artillery.
Yeah, it's real rough. It's okay. So they have learned SBTC. They've learned Twisted Fate good actually. And so they take it away from Cerberus because, I mean, it's not like Tier1's going to play it. We've seen him try and play it. It was bad. So, but good response in terms of bans from Cerberus as well, taking away the Gragas. Good jungle pick for Yujin. I imagine here they look for something like the 𝘁𝗏, maybe the Skarner that is still on the board. That might be one of the better options up against the 𝘁𝗱𝗆 and Ezreal. So, still a bit run at you heavy, but not a bad option.
I mean, speaking of running at you, 𝗁𝗃𝗀, he does it very, very far.
There is getting onto the Ezreal is still a very big problem because you got 3 run at you champions, but you don't have anything to access backline super well, and especially getting 𝘁𝗍𝗆 back there I think is the important thing at this moment.
You have the onslaught of shadows, but that's about it.
That's it. Yeah.
That's kind of hit or miss up against the arcane shift. So,
how do you guys feel about this Graves?
Graves bad.
Graves. Yeah.
What's been taken off the board? Quite a lot. So I'm not I don't think Graves is the worst thing in the world. If I would much prefer to 𝘁𝗏 to it, but I guess 𝘁𝗏𝗆's playing what he's comfortable on, and that is the Graves up this far down the tree.
It's going to be a Syndra locked in. Rebel, I know that makes you very unhappy as soon as you see that one. Oh my. Not the best. It's going to be the Victor last pick as well for Tier1. I think finally SBTC have kind of come out on top in a draft, and that's weird to say when there's a 𝘁𝗱𝗆 on the side.
I don't think so, but I'll let Rebel go first.
It's mostly contingent on just how active that Yujin can be early, because if you're able to shut Ezreal out, on 2 items Ezreal gets strong, but on 3 items he gets powerful enough to actually carry fights. Syndra probably just never really gets to a chance where you're going to be able to match the damage of Victor. And so what Syndra begins, and what I guess Seraphine fits the role of, what Renekton fits the role of, is effectively just creating this buffer zone to make sure that Gnar can't access, Zed can't access, and Hecarim can't access, to allow Ezreal just continue to throw pot shots into the enemy team. And that's pretty strong, but it's kind of similar to what we saw in the last game, and we saw how that turned out for the side of Cerberus.
Yeah, it may end up being a little bit of a damage problem on the side of Cerberus, but I think if Yado just sort of plays as a E-bot for the most part and just tries to keep, like, E away the Zeros engage, E away the Slay engage, and then just if Celebrity dives in, press R on him, that should be more than enough to be useful and let Artemis do most of the heavy lifting. It's really all in on the bot lane, but I don't hate the Syndra pick in that sense. There was quite a few bans thrown that way, so I don't know what else I would have gone for. Maybe. I think it's very much the same sort of situation though, but slightly less useful in terms of being a peel bot.
But Marby, I will have to cut you off because I need to get Rebel's final word. And who's taking home the glory?
I hate Syndra. I actually don't hate it here as much as I normally hate the champion. And my vote was for Cerberus to win the series. I don't think I'm changing that here. It's going to be Cerberus again.
Fair enough. Yijin has actually poked his head up towards the top side here. Punt needs to get away. That's doing that cheeky ward again. But
but it's not going
actually
to be quite the same. It's a Gnar this time. It's not a Jace. It doesn't do quite as much damage in this early game up against the Renekton. So
Punt does still need to be careful.
Just see what that commits to. You can't want 3 bushes.
But I mean, this isn't great for Pun. Like, I don't think he wins out in the long run.
It's actually not that bad for Pun. I mean, it's gone sort of one. They've both had to pop their pots, but Pun has a lot more natural sustain, so he should be fine in this lane once he just walks back up to these minions and pops his Q. Whereas Zeros, sure, he's gotten a few extra grass procs. That's about his victory coming out of this. And
yeah, I mean,
the main thing for Pun this time around is he got experience and gold.
It's true.
Whereas, yeah, he didn't get that last time on the Renekton. But here we're going to see just so much poke coming on this bot side, and that's where the main focus has to be, because early level 2 for Artemis and Cuba. Oh god.
Oh no, Artemis has been caught. The Haymaker is thrown. Celebrity flashes on forward, but the Ignite doesn't quite do enough. Can 𝘁cie turn this around? Artemis is waiting for his health to tick back up. Is there going to be a
back
Q?
so much.
Not quite. They sustain up, and 𝘁cie has a heal. Slay doesn't. In the end, Cerberus will probably come out higher in lane position, and Artemis held their flash.
Yeah, such discipline from Artemis, not flashing away at all. 𝘁cie can just poke the.
Oh, Marby appears to have
some heals on it. He doesn't have it at the moment. He's gone for the CE.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Artemis, good E-flash. Can they turn it around into Slay? It's a big heal, but there's a teleport coming on in. 𝘂𝗏 arriving as well, but there's a teleport from the other side. Artemis gets pinged up by a W. Yijin, he's doing some alcove gaming, but Cerberus might lose the game right here. 𝘂𝗏 flashing forward to get the kill. It's not worth it. They have to try and turn this around. Onto Dia. Yado has everything to do. He picks up one, and he flashes away. But Celebrity ends up with double buffs.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Celebrity's got these double buffs. He's going to be able to live forever in this bot lane. He's probably going to reset once this wave is shoved in regardless, because he's picked up so much gold. But that is huge coming out from SBTC. They get a good advantage up against this lane they have no right to. And it's because Cerberus gets overconfident with their victory. Yijin, he's on the bot side. He skips his entire bot side clear to come punish that bot lane. Of course, everyone on Cerberus commits to try and salvage the play, but in the end, it ends up being they're always down in numbers. They managed to pick up deal one off the back of these minions. And 𝘀𝗷 almost goes down as well. So just overall, obviously, 2-3 in the favor of SBTC plus the first blood. And all because Yijin, playing very selflessly, just dodges, skips his jungle clear.
Yeah, it's just a huge mistake, honestly, from 𝘂𝗶𝗆 in particular. 𝘁𝗏𝗻 can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. He was an Ezreal with a flash. You see, like, as soon as they were threatened, he got the hell out of there. But 𝘂𝗶𝗆 can't do that, particularly because his flash was down. I feel like that was a huge mistake out of this Seraphine. It just didn't need to happen.
Yeah, 𝘂𝗶𝗆 really wanted to overpush that advantage, and they did not expect Yijin to keep going down bot lane. And
Yijin's back in bot lane. Can we look down there? He's just getting fended off for now.
Rewards, it looks like, but 𝘁𝗏𝗻 just getting zoned away from quite a bit of experience, and that's the main victory off that bot lane venture from Yijin. They are going to turn it into the dragon, so slowly getting that lead ahead. 𝘂𝗏 playing very well up into Pun, and can 𝘂𝗷 overput?
Yep.
What
Pun's
the
just dead.
hell did Pun do there?
Pun? Hello?
What the hell did you do? Okay, 𝘂𝗏 has blown the ultimate on the wave, so 𝘂𝗷 might be able to make something happen. But no, he's just gonna.
No, he's fine.
No,
wait, what?
What
was that?
I don't know. Pun just like flashed on the spot and wound up dying. 𝘂𝗏 was nowhere near close to death. So let's see. 𝘂𝗏 gets a very good trade here.
What is he trying to do with the flag? He's trying to dodge the rock.
Yeah,
I don't think that matters.
Sort
You
of
just get
flashes on
the
this. So he was trying to flash and then bait 𝘂𝗏 back into 𝘂𝗷, I believe. But of course, messes up the flash, still gets bopped by the Q and goes down.
Very strange. Very, very strange stuff going on right now. But no.
So
I
it's
just don't
just
understand that play.
victories pretty much across the board. Only that mid lane is going in advantage of Cerberus. I guess you could say the jungle as well, as they have the same score line and a bit of a farm lead, but that's to be about expected. Both mid laners stunning each other up there.
Dia uses his ult though.
Yep, so small advantage for 𝘀𝗷 at the moment. Health lead for Dia, but 𝘀𝗷 can turn that around if he chooses to ult, probably if he lands a good stun. No, okay.
He's not going to do anything.
Doesn't have the damage at this point. Doesn't have very good
tagged
poke.
up as well.
So
DL1.
DL1 just winning out on that trade, but still quite far down in the CS department. Victor not the easiest to CS on up against a Syndra, but very good trading going on there.
Yeah, this is not so bad so far for SBTC. They do have that 600 gold pushed in, but he goes aggressive, forces Pun back with that Meganar. It's just going to be a temporary advantage. Yijin sweeps out this control ward. 𝘂𝗷 has to. He's a level down at the moment.
Yeah, so
he's fallen a bit behind in farm.
And that's because Yijin's picked up his boots. He's gotten to the point where he can actually run around the jungle faster and start clearing faster. Now he's able to keep up with 𝘂𝗷 and outpace him. That means he's going to slowly snowball ahead and become more and more useful as the game progresses. 𝘁𝗏 bluffing a little bit and forcing 𝘁𝗏𝗻 to leave the tower alone. No play going to be taken today.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like not engaging into that is a good decision.
Yijin? He
Okay.
misclicked. He was trying to push 𝘀𝗷 back, but he clicked the tower. So his empowered auto just jumps into the tower and he feels like a doofus.
Yeah, that's not a good play out of Yijin. Yep, not the best step forward out of this pony. But
overall, Ghost for flash
die.
though, so it winds up being a
That's a good
victory
trade.
because that Ghost will be up much faster, and he's already back on the map. He's already heading his way down bot lane, going to make sure they are safe. 𝘂𝗷 is lurking around this mid lane. No ultimate for 𝗀𝗄, so they probably aren't going to try for too much.
Oh, they can
Just a
do
bit
a fair
extra
bit of
damage.
damage.
Oh,
There
my
is a
gosh.
collateral damage. Misses, just going wide. What the hell is going on? I think the players must be tired.
I mean, I have a feeling that last game is one of those games where no matter who wins, you feel like you lost. So when you actually do lose, you probably feel even worse on the side of Cerberus, as they are just getting run around from this. As 𝗀𝗄 hunting for the blue buff, he does get
They
it.
get it. Good steal. Yeah, nothing really invested, and they steal away a blue buff. Well done there.
Nothing invested. It's just a small gold lead for the side of SBTC. And I need to see these teams look to make something happen. The Dragon is up in 30 seconds as Eugen visits mid lane. Pun, making sure he gets this crab down for his team so they have vision on the Herald at all times. Eugen may be making his way up there.
𝘁 going forward. Oh, into the showstopper here. A lot of trouble. There's a good encore. They flash away, and he's just taking too much damage. They're going to try and kite this one out. Artemis flashing away. There's a teleport coming on in. Can he get over the wall? Can. 𝗀𝗄 should come in 1-for-1.
1-for-1. The kill goes over to the support, though, for 𝘁 and compared to 𝗀𝗄 for Cerberus. And that means it's a small victory for Cerberus there. Good flash from Celebrity to dodge the encore means they were able to pick that up with ease, but 𝘁 backed out a little bit too early, I feel, in terms of taking down Artemis. Good teleport though, good response from 𝗀𝗄 to clean it up as a 1-for-1. Does mean that he's stuck on this bot side, and that should end up being a Dragon for Rift Herald trade overall. But the bot lane for SBTC is coming up to contest, but oh no, that thing was so far down. Yeah, here we see just good flash engage, completely catches Huber out, and then here we see the instant flash from Celebrity. Really well done. 𝘁, yeah, he sort of isn't sure what he's doing and ends up deciding to bail out because of 𝗀𝗄. May have actually been the right move. Looking at it again, did not have
The
too much
thing there
hellbound
is
there.
𝘁 can't do anything once it gets to that point. Once
Yeah.
it's just the Ezreal, 𝘁 doesn't do anything. So him
Yeah.
just getting out of there was definitely the
on review, definitely the right call, but
yeah.
Can't see everything first time around. Leave me alone.
Yeah, of course. Hindsight's 2020. It's all right. You're not even a play-by-play caster. It's not your job.
Yeah.
True Shot Barrage comes out, but a tower plate will still be picked up by Celebrity. Rift Herald was secured by 𝘂𝗄, so Cerberus has that in their pockets. They are currently 800 gold down.
And
What did they just
One
get
of the-
150 gold from?
probably the
𝘁.
best.
𝘁.
Yes. 𝘁 is finished. Probably one of the best rifts for... Oh, never mind. 𝗀𝗄's going to go down.
Yeah, this is a lot of damage going on to 𝗀𝗄. Get away from Chaos Storm. No! That will be a kill for the 𝗁𝗄𝗏. The burn from the side doing
Teleport for
work.
not a hell of a lot.
Teleport's not going to
Just-
cost much except its cooldown though. Pun will get
No.
back up in time to fight.
No, definitely was needed to get back out of the map anyway. Tried for something, didn't actually do it. Nothing came from it. That's 2 turret plates in the top lane down for Xerath, though he is having the time of his life up here. Even though Pun's having a lot better of a time. He's actually even in CS. But definitely still getting bullied around a little bit by Xerath. That solo kill definitely not doing him any favors. And I have to say,
Absolutely not.
if I can actually... Oh, no, never mind. Xerath's
Into
going
the
in.
wall. Pun taking a lot of damage here. This is just a good trade out of kill, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have to.
It's not going to result in a kill just yet, but if he doesn't get a chance to reset or regen health, there's a good Rift Herald taking advantage of the resets. That's going to be 3 plates over to 𝗀𝗄. This Rift, though, one of the best options for SBTC, in my opinion, because a lot of Artemis's damage comes out of the fact that he's building this lethality on the Duskblade and the Spellblade proc, and that's going to be negated quite heavily by the use of this Mountain Rift, especially if we see DL1 pick up Zhonya's, if we see a GA come out for Celebrity. I mean, the rest of the map is already building quite tanky naturally anyway. So Zeros just going to dodge away from a bit of a gank. Didn't
Yeah,
have
does
to blow
well.
flash or anything. So he's having a good time. Doing a little
Having a
bit of
great
BM.
time. He's having a great
Has to
time.
be careful. A little bit careful.
Pun doesn't have any minions to dash through, so he can't really get on. Zeros is pretty safe, but Pun is actually going to try and turn it around. But the hops will keep the Gnar safe. Zeros knows when he can BM and when he can't. But ooh, they
don't
might
think he
punish
does.
this arrogance. 𝘁𝗃 coming on in. There's flashes being. He can't get the auto attack, so it's a flash for a flash. But Zeros gets away free.
Zeros, man, you're certainly a cocky one. That's for sure.
He bought a lot of time. He wasted so much of time from
The-
Pun and 𝘁𝗃.
The only thing is, there wasn't anything his team didn't do anything with that wasted time. Yijin wasn't really doing anything. He's just getting caught out a little bit here. There wasn't anything for them to set up around.
But it got him a tower plate in the end. He delayed Pun for so long. He's getting plates.
He's getting plates, but that's not necessary. But he pretty much could have done that off just their base reset anyway. So he does get the tower in the end, but it's not that was really just. There wasn't any good coming out of that play. It was just.
Can we comment on how fast this horse is going to be? There's a chem tank.
That is a tank Hecarim. Okay. Okay, that's interesting.
It's a chem tank.
That is.
He's gonna
very
run
interesting.
real quick. He gonna run real.
This feels a lot like the old Moby Boots Hecarim in effectiveness, where you just run really quickly and just to get that instant burst off. But no, this is actually full tank Hecarim. Okay, going for that dead man's plate second. Though it could be Force of Nature, I expect it to be dead man's plate though.
You would think so, particularly into the team comp. Armor extremely valuable against the Ezreal and the Graves, of course. Ooh, oh no, the wheel! The wheel!
Oh, thank God.
We hadn't seen you all night, but finally we do see a little bit of our Lord and Savior, the spinny wheel. Zeros has a full Gnar bar, they need to be careful.
He does have
Go
a
big.
full Gnar bar, but he's not very tanky at the moment. He only has that stride breaker, which is a little bit of health.
Engaging straight on in, they've caught onto 𝘁𝗃. They press anything, that's not 𝘁𝗃, that's
𝘁𝗃.
My mistake. My mistake, but the jungler is dead. Coming in from the side is Pun, but can he get anything done before he goes down? It's a fair bit of damage onto... Chunks out Yijin as well. Cerberus actually has the health bar lead, and with the stun land, flashes over the wall.
Huge win.
This is risky. They don't have a jungler.
They don't have a jungler, but Yijin is completely out of it. It's just going to be up to if Slay can land a cheeky W, but he's not even going to go for it. Doesn't want to risk it, but he may be. Oh man, he's playing with fire there, but it gets away unburnt. And yeah, just good positioning and good amounts of poke coming out from Cerberus. Even though they lose their jungler and lose the trade in terms of kills, they get the health lead, and that gets them the dragon overall in the end, and that's worth it. So here we
look
just
at this
see,
fight for why Seraphine should get nerfed.
oh yeah, we just see so much damage coming in, and then just massive ultimate keeps everyone in place. But here we see the main reason they win the fight. It's just Pun. Look at how much damage he does to Celebrity. They have to back out completely.
Yeah,
And-
that was very, very well played out of this Renekton. We like to see it. Pun has been noted as the weak point of Cerberus. This may well be his last series as well. Not sure what the arrangement will be once their big Korean boy, 𝘁𝗏𝘆, is coming in. He will be eligible to play the next time Cerberus plays.
Yeah, and definitely looks to be the case. So SBTC have to be a little bit careful
Herald
here.
going
for
low.
it.
Yijin charges in. They actually disengage really well, but they just instantly lose the Herald. Picked up there by Yijin. Well timed by SBTC, and Cerberus get nothing out of the play.
Yeah, very good patience from Yijin coming in at the perfect time. Chunks out Huber to half health despite the instant flash from him. Just caught up in that auto attack. So they know their targets. They know Huber is the one they need to hit. remove that Seraphine, and it makes removing this Ezreal so much easier. He's already built up a huge amount of ability haste, so these Qs are just going to be coming out rapid fire. There's a machine gun coming out of the bot lane.
Very true. Hasn't quite completed his mythic though yet. That Duskblade is yet to be completed. The Essence Reaver though, almost as strong as a mythic when it comes to it. Ooh, Pun needs to be careful. He is caught out a little bit. They are going to try and go for the fight. There is a blast cone. Pun pops it, but there is no follow-up. Yijin, he's very quick. He trots away.
Yeah, and we're starting to see the secret of Yijin. It is just run fast. Udyr, Skarner, now the Hecarim, now the Shouty Bird.
Sorry, he was objecting to me scratching his head.
And these junglers are working out for Yijin at the moment. He is able to control the pace of the early game. He's able to get most of these objectives down for SBTC, and that is giving them the early game they need to hold on to the point where macro means less and less, and it all comes down to their mechanics, and that is what these players are. Just a very, very talented squad of players. Even though their macro hasn't been the best, and it's been quite disappointing at times.
It doesn't really matter.
The late game is where they shine.
They're just, like, Cerberus is just in a position where they can't do much about the sidelines. They got ahead early. This Gnar is sort of uncontestable now. The Renekton is not safe up there. They're playing. I actually think they could send Dia1 to a side lane, but they're just going to collapse on the Renekton instead. Pun gets away easy enough. This Rift Herald actually gets a whole lot of nothing done. Yijin goes straight through the middle. 𝘁𝗃 flashes away. They're actually teleporting to the Rift Herald. They could do that. Oh, the big Gnar ult though. They dive on in. This is a huge play. Seraphine goes down second. Nardo has to run Chaos Storm. And this is a disaster here for Cerberus. They are getting cleaned off the Rift by the super big time chicken.
That's so much damage. Even that laser coming in from on Artemis at the end there to confirm the win. That's going to be a turn on to Baron. Dia1 maybe just greeting a little bit for this tower, but definite Baron coming out of this victory. They can try and turn it into a dragon afterwards if they so choose. Dia1, he's just playing Gatekeeper, and it's so hard to approach in through these narrow corridors.
Almost impossible. Yado gets hit by a rock.
So low.
They don't even have True Shot Barrage. Baron is secured. SBTC get out safely, and this game is not looking as close as game 2. It is a 6k gold lead at 5k gold lead at 22.
That Q looked a little bit close, and it's still 10 seconds until the dragon comes up. Here we just see a bit of a flubbed engage after abandoning the Rift Herald to its fate. But here we go. Zeros just sets it up. 3-man. It was actually only a 1-man got stunned, but it put 𝘂𝗏 into the middle of the team where Seraphine is so vulnerable, doesn't have mobility to get out, and that just wins them the fight instantly. Jungler and support dead, and they are even able to get this dragon off the back of it as well, off the reset. And now
Pun's in trouble. Yep, Zeros is coming on in, has the Gnar, he'll get smacked into the wall, and it's a handbag for us. And Cerberus, they just don't have the they just don't have the stamina in this series. They're just tired. They've fallen off. They should have won game 2. They didn't close it out. They screwed up. And now SBTC, they've just got the legs.
And Yijin's just hanging out. And yeah, when you win such a tough nail-biter of a game, you get that momentum in terms of, wins and mental state, and that is what can carry you through to that final game. So, if you want to win a nail-biter, make sure it's game 2. Because otherwise, you definitely need to win those ones, because then you get the easy pickup in game 3, and that is the series win. And the game 3 is really all that matters, and it's mattering for Cerberus because they are not winning it.
No, they really aren't. Now, it is not over. It's not hard. Sorry, I should say. It's very hard for Cerberus. Not over. They still have options. They still have a Seraphine that is getting very, very scary. Artemis has now finished his mythic. But they've got a long, long mountain to climb. And they might be doing it barefoot. Oh, no. Okay, he calls it off. Never mind.
Yeah, Eugen's looking for what he can
Actually,
get.
could go for the flash encore here.
It's a very tanky
I think they could
Hecarim,
have picked
though.
up some kills.
Very tanky, though, on the side of Eugen and Slay. So, not wanting to commit too much on the off chance, especially with how quickly Celebrity can join in.
Oh my god,
Eugen
Eugen
goes in.
just diving in the backline. The encore misses everything. That was horrible out of 𝘁cie𝗱𝗆. Didn't extend it off any teammates there. The 𝘁 play in this game, very, very lacking. In the end, it doesn't cost them a huge amount. They're already going to lose that tower, but not good to see.
Yeah, the corporate sellout not really doing her best right now. On this, with that encore, so just gonna have to wait for the old next neutral objective for something to happen. I mean, it is the VCS. We can just see fights over nothing. It happens time and time again. But I think with what we've seen out of this series so far, we are just going to be holding on until that next dragon spawn in 2.5 minutes. And this really opens up SBTC. It sort of brings them back into the face of the public as like, we are the team we were meant to be. We are meant to be these contenders for the top. We are, I mean, at the end this round robin as top 2, as second place, maybe even tied first if BTS pulls off the upset of all upsets.
Yeah, all right. Let's keep it reasonable. They end at second.
Yeah, I mean,
Keep it reasonable.
I mean, BTS will win their game. It is written.
Oh, Eugen
but
charging
Eugen-
on in. Ooh, he calls it off, but I like it. He's constantly going for this Seraphine. I expected, and after my own heart, Brozza Hecarim, making sure that dirty e-girl Seraphine
Justice.
has a bad time.
I mean, let's be honest, Eugen. What champion do you think of when you think of Eugen?
Skarner.
Exactly. He justice for Skarner. He's coming.
Yeah,
he's
true.
He's
Makes
getting,
sense.
He's getting revenge for his Bracken bro. DR1 is getting.
DR1 has been
blown up.
caught out. They're doing so much damage. They take it down. Eugen charging forward. This is very bold out of the pony. He's in alone at the moment. It's lucky that he's tanking. He manages to get away to the rest of his team, but it is still the 1 for 0. Cerberus'
Regular
health
Hecarim
bars
would have
are
traded
low.
1 for 1.
It's true.
Regular Hecarim would have gone 1 for 1, but this is not regular Hecarim. This is I do no damage, but I am also very tanky Hecarim. So
He's going in again, and
Oh,
now he's
Zeros.
got a team. Zeros goes over. Ezreal, he goes down immediately. Damage removed from Cerberus. Pun and 𝘁cie𝗱𝗆 are split off. But there's no wave here to get this mid lane tower. Pun surfing over the wall. Oh my god, Zeros. Oh my what the
God, celebrity.
wow.
Zeros is coming for that title. He wants to be the best top laner in Vietnam again, and I mean he's looking like the best now so far. I've seen all splits. Because these Gnarls have been so well timed, he always catches a valuable member in them. That time it was Artemis, and he has been such a difference maker in this game. Despite, it doesn't really look like it. He's been involved in too much, just over half of the kills, but every time he's gotten involved, it has been a solid victory for SBTC off the back of his Gnarls. Well,
Very
almost
true.
every time. That one time around the first mountain was a bit scuffed, but
Anyway.
anyway.
This Hecarim as well has been incredibly effective from Eugen. Just building it full tank has been able to buy so much space. I really love this adaptation coming out of Eugen. He's basically just playing at a Skarner, but without an ult.
He likes people who run. He likes the run fast tanks. He likes his gun Udyr, Skarner, now Hecarim. I'm waiting for the
going
Rammus.
low. This is Soul Point. Can he get in there? It is secured by the Ezreal in the end. Pun is trying to make something happen before he goes down. He's very beefy, but not beefy enough. They delay the soul take, but do lose
look
their
at bot lane.
crocodile in exchange. Eugen, he steps way too far forward. He goes down. Ooh, bot lane does need to be answered. You're right.
Yeah,
They have
Artemis.
no teleports up.
Artemis managing to pick up Eugen there is actually pretty big. They do not have a 𝘁cie available. 𝘁𝗀𝗆 is still up. They lose a Nexus turret though for Cerberus and SBTC. They just need to keep Cerberus guessing because they can't spend too much time because there's just these super minions piling in. And
they're just going to go on to the Baron. 𝘁𝗀𝗆, I don't think he gets close enough in time. It's only 2,000 health. He can lateral damage.
Well, no,
Actually,
he
he does get close enough. But they CC him. They stopped all DPS so well. It's now on 300 health. They're waiting until they burst it. The Baron is secured. The Encore misses again. 𝘁𝗱𝗆, get off the stage. No one likes the double kill for Celebrity, and the wheels are off the wagon.
Raise your hand if you have been personally victimized by 𝘁𝗱𝗆.
I haven't been personally victimized. I just hate her.
No,
Yado is
don't
caught
worry.
out. Slay charged on in. Celebrity doing his job. Yijin goes into the backline, backs up DR1. The robot picks up the kill. Pun surfs his way through the backside. Slay's just going to zone him, and they're already on. And SBTC, you know what? We put a lot of doubt on them. Me personally put a hell of a lot of doubt on them. But they come out of this one making me look pretty silly.
And it all comes down to these big plays out of the top laner. I said it all along. Zeros is your man. He's your man to win the series, and he shows up massively on the Gnar. But overall, just a big performance out of SBTC. 𝘂𝗶𝗆, bit of a letdown in this final game, but that's the series. That's the match of the week done. And it was a bit of a cracker.
It really was. That game 2 in particular was an absolute banger. We will be going over to the VCS English analyst desk for a very brief bit. We're all very tired, so we won't be sticking around for too long. But Rebel, what was your take on game 3 and the series as a whole?
I mean, again, this is the deficit of Ezreal. We've seen it in the past where when games are really slow, the meta is really slow, where we're starting to transition to that. Ezreal's a powerful pick, and there's a lot of reasons to take it, but it was so slow that you just couldn't have Artemis be that really big kind of damage backbone for this team that was necessary in the first little bit. Couple that with the fact that Yijin everywhere on the Hecarim. Zeros was amazing on that Gnar pick, like we talked about, starting to become really important. Combine that into the fact that, again, they run another game in terms of dragon control, and it's way too easy here for the side of SBTC to take the dub.
That does. Marby, do you have any final takes before we say goodnight?
I think, really, Cerberus, they're showing a lot of what I said was probably some of their weaknesses coming into the split, in that series in particular, at least. Their mental strength still needs working on. They need a good mental coach. Hopefully, Possible bring some of that LPL resilience in from his time on WE, of all things. So hopefully that helps them in that regard. But otherwise, look, they put up a good fight. They fell apart a little bit after a crushing loss, so can't blame them too much. I still think they'll end the split higher than SBTC. But SBTC are at least looking good when they choose to play standard.
Yep. With that, we will bid you a good night. I assume production's ready to throw us out. They are good. With that, we will bid you a good night. Thank you for tuning in to VCS English here on this lovely Friday. Hope everyone had a good time. Our match of the week certainly delivered. My name has been Everyday. With me has been 𝘁𝗏𝗏 and Rebel Fox. If you do enjoy the stream, please do consider supporting us through a Twitch subscription, Twitch Prime subscription, a Patreon subscription, or just a donation. We really do need the money. It's very difficult to keep this going, and who knows how much longer it'll last with us making zero money. Who knows? Might not be too much longer. We'll see. Regardless, good night, everyone. We'll be back here, same time, same place, tomorrow.